worried. He takes me into like a completely empty office, into his room, shuts the door. He takes his shoes and socks off and gets on the table, like crosses his legs, sits on the table. And I was like, what is going on here? So I'm sitting at the table, literally head height with his crotch, right? I was like, what on earth is going on here, right?
A desk in the airport in Austria. It's dedicated for people that thought they were going to Australia.
Is there really?
Yeah.
That's the thing. He told me this, it blew my head off.
And that would be me. So that would be me. So I'm good at certain parts. Like
Good day, mate.
Yeah, literally.
That's not enough.
Isn't it?
Crocodile
Like
Dundee, he's on
another
with him
shrimp
next
on the
week,
barbie.
Yeah.
So Hugh comes up to me and he's like, I'll take a walkie-talkie. I was like, you're having a giraffe, yeah? Yes, like, what are we doing? Like, I just thought we were going for a coffee.
Welcome to episode 2 of Appetite for Combustion. I'm Jamie, this is Toby, and on today's menu we are joined by a large portion of greens. And I'm not talking broccoli or petit pois. And his good friend Pete Taylor. Welcome, guys.
Evening. Lads.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Second time round.
It is the second time round. Well, and yeah, apologies for the last time. So we've been public with this in terms of who knew sound engineering or audio engineering was bloody tough, because it was a nightmare. But thank you very much for coming again.
Yeah.
I think then we will cover off some of the. I was gutted when I listened to the sound because we covered some really funny stuff, and it was like the first 40 minutes I was just in stitches, but I couldn't put it out there. So I think we'll go down that road again and touch on some of those stories. So. Shall we go with introducing you first then? I was going to say, what's your name and where'd you come from?
Sounds like Black.
Like a low-budget dating show, doesn't it?
Contestant number 2, please.
Single man, reveal yourself.
Silla. Good old Silla.
We'll call you 1 and number 2. Right, so...
He's still a Black, I'm Paddy McGuinness.
No likey, no likey.
That's it, no likey, no likey.
Barrymore and Forsyth?
No. I'm not going swimming in no pool, mate.
Yeah, but that'll bring us on to the jacuzzi story, though, won't it? Very nicely, won't it?
Yes, it would, yes.
Right, let's go with Pete first then. Do you want to just cover off where you're from? And
so Pete Taylor from Penland, Swansea, originally. Because I know Andy's going to tell you that anyway, so I thought I would get that in there.
Yes.
Up the land.
Up the land,
Up
yes.
the land.
Up the land, centre of the universe.
Live in 5 Roads, Clethley now, and I own Taylor Facilities Management.
We'll get more into that a bit later, I reckon.
Yeah.
Right then.
Taylor Facilities Management.
Taylor's Facilities Management.
The Greens.
I am
a large portion of
Mr. Green. So I
one of the best house bashers in the land.
Yeah, bash luxury houses basically. So yeah, that's pretty
bash
much.
them about.
Slings up houses.
Do you bash non-luxury houses? Because I need mine needs a bit bashing.
I mean, pretty much it's as long as
as long as the checkbook.
Kind of as long as the
piece of string.
If you go on holiday, he will take your roof off and not tell you.
Will he?
Yeah,
and then charge you for it.
Absolutely, that will happen.
He's made a nice convertible on the Mumbles Road. I spotted earlier.
Yeah, there's a nice
cabriolet.
Yeah. She's all right. Lid'll be back on her sometime soon.
She needs a lid.
A 5-bed cabriolet.
Yeah. Something like that.
I like it. Well, should we jump into how you got to where you are then, in terms of the journey? Because it didn't just appear, I guess.
Yeah. So and when you first came to the Rag and Bone HQ, the shop.
Yeah.
You had a team of 8, I think, was it, working with you? Maybe?
Yeah, about that. Something along those sort of numbers.
Yeah. So you've just gone from strength to strength.
I was I did carpentry apprenticeship from school. Sort of went straight into being self-employed. Took someone on when I was 19. They're still. Actually, it was my first actual apprentice was Louis Woodrow. No, Lou?
Oh, he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah. Lou. I had Lou for a little bit. We had a laugh, but then I took Paolo worked with me pretty much full time then. So Paolo's still with me now. So we're 14 years down the line now.
Is that Paolo off the Tour de France?
Yeah.
Likes his lycra.
Yeah.
Yeah, he helped me out with Top Tyler, yeah.
Heart like a hummingbird, mate, yeah.
Very good bloke. Very good.
He's, no, we went limited in 2015 and eating the mic now.
Just
So
She's just had a roasted.
I'm
egg.
about to say I don't
That's
eat
a really
anymore.
good
I'm
one for
full.
you,
I'm
mate.
full. I'm definitely full.
we put some smelly stuff on here so you don't you can go closer to it.
Yeah, no, I went. The business went limited in 2015. Been trading as a limited company for the last 8 years. We pretty much build in like luxury houses locally now. We fit sort of make and fit kitchen furniture sort of nationally now.
So there's different facets to the business. Since
Yeah,
you
different
started.
facets of the business. We've got a little maintenance business that works at the back end as well and looks after the houses once we finish them.
Yeah.
So
What's your favourite part? What facet of the business gets your juices going? Can I say that? Gets your juices going?
what facet? Yeah.
Flowing.
Yeah, flowing.
Like a faucet.
Yes. Like a
Tap faucet.
Yeah.
How
How much would that cost me if I wanted to get a tap faucet?
Oh, it depends, you know. If you're gonna go with like pairing and row, mate,
Yeah,
pairing and row for faucets, there where they're at.
Is that
I think a faucet's actually an animal, isn't it? Is a faucet an animal?
No, that's a posset.
posset.
faucet? Yeah.
Posset.
That's a
Posset.
possum.
That's a possum.
Possum.
A posset's a dessert, isn't it?
I should know that, but
I'm sure a
Yeah.
posset is... No, a posset. I'm
Fon-
sure it's a dessert.
Faucet.
fondue. We'll leave it at fondue.
We'll leave it at fondue.
Cheese.
I may have completely made that up. I'm sure it is, though.
Yeah, no, I think probably the favourite. Sorry, go back to the question. So, like, favourite part of the job for me now is I'm not on the tools anymore. So, I try and do a little bit here and there, sort of pitching with the boys. I go and do the training days with them and like looking at new products and stuff like that. I mean, I love the chase now, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
You know, it's the sort of dealing with clients, winning new work, looking at new ventures within the business. And once you've got a platform like we've got now, we've got a relatively, not a big company compared to some companies, but we've got a good size platform to work off. You've got a base to build and sort of monopolize different areas then, you know, within that business, which I'm enjoying at the moment.
Opens up those opportunities, doesn't
Yeah,
it, I guess,
yeah,
isn't it,
exactly.
in terms of
Yeah.
got you.
So yeah, like we said, when you started, there was say 9 of you, but you had to then make that step to go bigger, just to make it all viable and all work. Really, was it?
Yeah, obviously I talked to you a little bit about it before, but as I said last time, it's kind of not from money. So for me, I kind of didn't go down the line of trying to borrow money off someone or anything like that. I kind of used credit to build a business.
Yeah.
So that analogy of building a fence for someone, it's £1,200 fence, take a £600 deposit, use that, your credit facility within the builder's merchants. Anyone can start a credit facility.
Yeah.
So you just go, you put in your own name on the table, not like if they won't take a limited company,
Yeah,
but when you're a
of
sole trader, you can go and get 2 to 5 grand's worth of credit straight off the back.
Great.
So you put the materials there, take a deposit for the materials instead of you use that the deposit to go and buy yourself some tools.
Yeah.
Finish a job. Job obviously costs £1,000. You get your final payment out of them, the final £600. Your £600 goes to paying for the materials, but now you have tools. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And basically I continued that method until eventually you've got a fleet of vans, fleet of tools, people that know how to do the job, and that's kind of how I did it, you know.
I think you just rinse and repeat that. Bigger.
Yeah,
bigger
exactly.
ends,
Yeah. As I said, like by the time you do 15, 20 fences, you get to the end of the road, you have got, if you've taken an apprentice on, you've got a van, the tools, and someone who knows how to do the job, you know.
So you're building those foundations, aren't you? Because short-sighted, you could get that £1,000 for building the fence, go out and buy yourself a whatever, and buy yourself half of a lunch in Vegas, but we'll come on to that in a second.
And I think probably another important thing that we did was that everybody buys a van when they're going to become self-employed or they're going to start their own business, and they just put their name on the side of it straight away.
Yeah.
So we didn't do that. We worked for a period of time until we were in the right areas with the right work, and then I branded those jobs.
Right, clever.
So that you're not then associated with a certain type of work. We were associated with larger projects.
Was that strategic as well?
Yeah, that was a strategic.
Smart.
That was a strategic thing.
Yeah,
that was.
smart.
And then, you know, as I said with you, James, that everyone says, "Oh, you go too big too quick." Whereas actually, if you want to be a successful construction company or like you're saying with you, in any relatively sized company where you're running multiple people, if you're starting a product, you can do that with a really small team. So if you're buying something and selling it, you just have a couple of small team. But when you're dealing with 50, 60, 100 people every day, you need a good base, like a good office space.
Yeah.
And to afford that office space, you need the turnover. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you become uncompetitively expensive.
Yeah.
So basically, I took the leap from sort of 10, 11 boys. Then I said when I used to use the Rag and Bone as my office, I took that leap and sort of went up to 25, 30 boys very quickly. That came with its own growing pains, but without that big leap into taking on more work, I wouldn't have got the turnover and be able to fund the office that we've grown now, you know?
Was that always so how early on did you have that? Because that sounds so strategic in terms of your thinking, in terms of branding only when you're in the right place or in the right area.
Well, so like we go back over to you then, isn't it? Is that me and Pete, obviously we've known each other for a long time. We grew up the same religion together. We're really good mates. We've had ventures together. We've sort of worked together, and you know, we still have bouncy
all the time.
Still, it's still even now. Like when I've got new things, I'm bouncing them off a certain few people. Friends, a couple of clients that I've done houses for that are really successful businesses.
Because it's difficult, isn't it, as well? Like, you know, like the problems and things you want to discuss with somebody now, when you have, 20, 30, 40 people, it's not that opinions don't matter of everybody's, but there's not many people who know actually what that feels like.
And also, you can't. There's only so many people you can share a win with. I know that's mad.
That's a good
I actually rung Pete this
this
Friday, and I just had a really big win, like one of the biggest wins we've ever had, right?
Oh well. Then.
And I was only, I rung Pete straight away. I was just like, I've just had a win. I've just had a win.
Brilliant.
Like I've just had a really really big win, and like
it's true though, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's the same. Like Pete ring
done
me.
the same with you. Loads of times.
and then you're like, he's delighted for me.
Yeah.
Whereas some people, obviously, you can't ring them and tell them you've had a win just because they sort of think like you're trying to puff your chest out or whatever.
Oh,
but
that's half the battle in business, is surrounding yourself with the right people in it, and you've got a good team around you now. You've got you got boys on the job with you that you can really trust, and
you've got some really good boys now at the minute.
Yeah. No, it's the business with us at the moment is really good. Like we're really, as I said, it's coming through. The old Rona and sort of growing a business through that and everything else. We've kind of really been through the storm, made some mistakes. I've done a lot of things which I would do differently, but ultimately now I've kind of got a really good team. As like we said last time, I've got some people that are going to start coming on, shareholders and that. And
shout out mailman Simsy.
Daniel,
he's the nicest man
Daniel.
I've ever met, isn't he? Mailer, honestly now.
Yeah. Jonesy. Jonesy's not coming on quite yet, actually. But.
Play your cards right, Jonesy.
How did you deal with that aggressive growth then? Because that is quite an and last time something that came through that. No, but in terms of that growth and maintaining that quality, because you've obviously wanted to brand yourself in the right area.
Yeah.
You wanted to.
I mean, we had the attitude of it was me at that point. I had the attitude of it didn't matter how much money it was going to cost, the job was always going to be right.
Yeah.
So if you're going into the market in a quality, and you're putting yourself out as a quality brand, you have to deliver quality.
Yeah.
And when you do that, first of all, you don't know what it's going to cost. Yeah. So you take in, you can use other people to estimate the work for you and that kind of stuff. But really, knowing every project, you don't know how much that project is going to cost to deliver until you've done 4 or 5 of them.
No,
and you collect that data.
Yeah, you've got it like a well-oiled machine. I've seen your spreadsheets. They're impressive.
Yeah,
that's so annoying, isn't it?
He knows where every penny is, every screw.
But it's.
I can help you make some funky dashboards out of your spreadsheets, but I'll tell you about that later. Yeah, we'll
funkypigeon.com.
Yeah. Fatpigeon.com.
Fat Pigeon.
That's what we're doing.
That's a different website.
Yeah.
Question then: did you have any mad losses? No, because of the first few you got to win.
Oh yeah.
Did you have any mad ones where you thought, I thought this would cost 10 grand, it's cost 50?
Yeah, I remember you telling me
about.
Yeah,
I've had a few. Right, so the first extension, one of the first kind of where I didn't do an element of an extension, I just sort of did it all. I think I priced that one at 21,000. I think it cost me £38,000 to deliver that.
Right. Okay.
And were you small then? So that would have been.
And I was painful. And I was still working on the tools, so it's not even like you're paying someone else to do the work.
That's gross, isn't it?
You're just working there for ages yourself.
And did you?
Nothing,
So I've been caught in a similar situation in work, and you don't know when that end point is. So you're kind of thousands down, but you don't know how much that's going to, and that's an uncomfortable.
No, it is. And going into COVID, I was in fixed price contracts for quite a few of our projects, and I wasn't able to go back and remeasure materials, and our material prices were just Some of the stuff was doubling weekly. So where even when I kind of sussed it out and I knew where I was a little bit with that stuff, because I'd know if someone gave me a piece of data on our projects, I would be able to tell you that was wrong straight away by looking at it. I would know what I was looking for. That was just every week I was just watching the prices go in, and like you know, I knew that there's no scope to go back to clients and ask for more money. I knew those clients, some of those clients were borrowed money to match it and etc. They didn't have options to go more, and basically I just had to trade that out.
So you had to honour that.
So I had to honour the prices, and then you try and trade best you can. Try and make some money somewhere else to cover the losses that were going to be here. And I'm just, I mean, we didn't get kind of big businesses well looked after, self-employed people well looked after, but I had to pay boys furlough that didn't want to come to work. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to claim that back. So it was, it was a real storm. You know, it was
well, and again, you don't know what the endpoint in COVID. You didn't know what the endpoint was.
No, I was the only, all I could do, and it was part of my rapid growth, is I grew a lot faster than I wanted to because I had to turn more money over to pay the bills. So I had to go and get more money to pay the bills. So I was like growing and growing and growing and growing and sort of liquidating my own personal assets and things like that. And
you're not a greedy person, then, mate. To be fair to you, you're not. I know that you're. You wanted to keep the boys in their job, and
man, I'm not gonna lie. If you sold your Vans collection, you could have paid the boys for 4 years. You've never seen a man with so many hats or Vans. I mean, shoes.
I know.
What size feet are you?
He's got the work ones. He's got the waterproof ones. He's got.
Mate, you went to Vegas. How many hats do you buy in Vegas?
I've got a problem. Yeah.
Oh, he turned up, right? And he's waiting for me at reception of the hotel. He had we haven't even talked about this. The weirdest, like, off-red suitcase. I don't know where it's come from. It looks like Jeffrey Dahmer's suitcase, right? It's gross, right? It's gross. It's properly gross.
It's straight up 60s, isn't it?
I forgot to even bring it up with you. I was so offended I couldn't even bring it up. I'm bringing it up now. Mate, I was like, what have we bought then? Because Steph was like, oh, we bought 2 extra suitcases. He opened it up like Pablo Escobar. It was just full of hats.
Yeah.
Just full.
It's a bad thing.
You look like those lucky men on the beach. You could
it
have
must
just
have been 30 hats you bought.
No, it wasn't quite. It was probably 25 hats. To be fair.
25 hats.
How many Bass Pro did you get? 8.
At least 15 Bass Pro
15.
hats. Yeah. Jamie was. I got, to be fair, I sampled one for Jamie. I mean, you last time you went to America before that, you bought me a hat back.
It's because I know you've got a problem.
I've got a problem.
I was enabling you.
He's an enabler.
Yeah.
He'd be looking at your hat, mate. That'll be gone by the time
next podcast, you're going to be on like fatties and their feeders, mate.
I'll feed you. Don't you worry.
Well, yeah. So that's a great insight into your business, and so awesome, well done, and strength to strength, and keep onward and upward. So what about you, Pete? You started off. It's very small again.
So we started off basically. So I'll tell you how we got to where we do it. So what we do is we look after kind of maintenance, mainly external. Yeah. Of like, we look after every home bargains in the UK. So there's about 611 as of today, I think. So that rate goes from Milford Haven to Inverness over to Northern Ireland, and we look after all of them.
Even the logistics there are just going to be a challenge.
That's the hardest thing. From dead honest, that's the hardest thing. But no, how it started was I used to work in town as a bouncer with a guy, and then when me and Leah were going to get married, I finished, and he's really smart. He's Ben, really good bloke. Way too smart, if I'm honest, to do that job. And he finished, and he became a store manager at a Home Bargains, and he asked me to clean the windows at one store. And I was like, I don't really want to be a window cleaner. I'd done window cleaning when I was in school. I hated it. And I didn't really want to be a window cleaner. But I thought, okay, we'll give it a go. So we went and did it. And I thought, this is all right. So we stuck to doing it. And I think he became an area manager. So he looked after 6 stores, 5 or 6 stores, like a few, like a little patch. Yeah. It was like the couple in Llanelli, Carmarthen Roads, like a few around here. And I was like, this is a pretty sweet deal. And I met, I can't remember how, it must have been a new store opening. I met, the big boss. Yeah. His name was Pete as well. Cracking bloke, but very, he'll always test you first. And he was like, and I must have been so cocksure I must have come across. And he was like, what do you want to get out of it then, lad? And I said, I want to clean all your windows, don't I? And he was like, I bet you do. He was like, there we go. There's one opening in Wantage next week. Can you clean that one for me? Yeah. And I was like, go on then. So I kept going to Wantage at the time.
Where is Wantage?
Oxford. Literally
Oxford.
Further than Oxford. Yeah.
So where were so there were 6
so the 6 I did were Llanellis, Phoenix Way, Llansamlet,
Yeah.
by where I used to work.
Yeah.
Then Carmarthen Road, Cumdee. It would have been those couple that
So all local, and then one like 100 mile away.
Oh,
if not
yeah,
more.
yeah. So what it would do is it would cost me, I think, 15 quid in a van to cross the bridge.
Right.
50 quid in
good.
fuel.
Yeah.
I'd have to go there, so I'd lose the whole day because it was a 3-hour drive each way.
Yeah.
And I think he used to pay me like 20 quid to clean the windows, and it was a massive shop. It was huge. But I was like, nah, I'm stubborn. Like, I am stubborn. I was like, I'll grind this out. Mate, about 9 months later, I called him up. I was like, Pete, you're seeing me off here.
Yeah.
And he was like, good boy.
That's one I'd say though. You actually followed your gut on, because normally, right?
Yeah.
I'm a punt man, so I'll take a risk on a long game.
Yeah.
Whereas Pete is normally, unless there's money in it, he don't do it.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
100%, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's the polar opposite, isn't it?
I'm about to say, it's
yeah.
quite an unusual thing.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Pete,
No,
that
it is, yeah.
'cause
I think
he's
you-
actually to do something for a period of time that,
Yeah.
and that's something Pete's very good at. Is that he'll just quit it if it's not working?
Make
He'll
the
go,
right
decision.
okay, I
Just
need
get
to
on
re, I need to
Nip it in the bud.
yeah.
Yeah, like,
So, so as their obviously as their business was growing, they were opening more and more branches.
Yeah.
You were sort of going with them, weren't you, in a way? 'Cause
100%. Like, they still are. They're a family-owned company. Like, nearly all of the people that work there are just good people. Like, they're like you and me. They're normal people. They're really great.
But Pete was just pushing your buttons, wasn't he?
Oh, 100%, yeah. So when I called him to kind of jack it in, he was like, good boy. And like, I thought, good boy, me. I wasted about 11 grand driving back. What do I want this for you to clean your windows? And I was like, what do you mean, good boy? and he said, oh, there was. He said, I thought you'd have quit before now. I was thinking, this bloke, he's one of those sick people that loves watching people suffer. Like.
Yeah.
So I was like, I couldn't tell whether there was good news coming or he was genuinely delighted to be seeing me off. And he was like, would you like a few more? I was like, yeah, I would. And he was like, if I give you, I think it was 111. He was like, if I give you 111, can you start Monday? And this was like Thursday. I was like, yep. And he was like, you sure? I was like, absolutely. I was like, you know, I haven't got another option of it. I'm going to have to do it.
Yeah.
And he was like, yep, good boy. See you Monday. And I was like, all right, great. So my mum, Leah's dad, Joel, anyone who could hold a mop and squeegee, I was maxing out my credit card on mop and squeegees. Everyone who could hold a squeegee, they were
Just like a global text
100%.
out to everyone.
Oh, 100%.
fair play.
We made it work, and I think that probably looked after 5 or 6 of us. And that was great. Like, that was genuinely a really good tickle for 3-4 years. And like, because Home Bargains were growing as well, that 106 probably organically turned into 150 over the next 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
Because even now, they still open a shop a week. Every Friday,
Really?
they're on a new store opening. They open a shop a week.
No way.
It's insane.
Really?
Yeah.
What year are we going back to now where you were just
Oh,
starting
so
to
this
grow?
was probably, so my lad's nearly 11, and he was just before he was born. So we're probably talking, 10, 11 years ago when this happened.
Yeah.
And then when Tia was born then, so Tia's now 4.5, so like 5 years ago-ish, we had a phone call to say, can you come in and have a chat in the head office? They've got 2 head offices, one in Liverpool and one in Amesbury, down by Stonehenge. They were like, can you come in to Stonehenge, the one in Stonehenge? Can you come down to Amesbury and have a chat with us? And I was like, oh, this is either really good or really bad. And I looked at the date, and it was on Bank Holiday Monday. And I was like, oh, this is bad news. We literally had Tia. She was maybe 2 weeks old. So I was bricking it, like. But we'd promised Trav, our boy, that we'd take him to Legoland in Windsor. So we thought, well, I'll tell you what, if it's going to be bad news, it's going to be bad news anyway. We'll just go to Legoland and I'll stop on the way for the meeting. And I went, and the guy who was in charge of everything was a guy called Jonathan, like, really nice bloke, but he looks like he should work in Google. Like, really nice fella, but does not look suited to, like, at the time, a budget retailer, right? Like, didn't look like at all. So he came in and he was like, sorry, Pete. He was like, I was absolutely terrified. He was like, sorry, Pete. Didn't realise it was Bank Holiday Monday. So I was like, oh, this might not be as bad as I thought. Still, like, properly worried. He takes me into, like, a completely empty office, into his room, shuts the door. He takes his shoes and socks off and gets on the table, like, crosses his legs, sits on the table. And I was like, what is going on here? So I'm sitting at the table, literally head height with his crotch, right? I was like, what on earth is going on here, right? And he's like, you clean windows then, do you? I was like, yep, yeah, I do, yeah. He's like, so, we need someone to clean all of them. And are you able? And I was like, yeah, I think I could do that, yeah. And he was like, good. He was like, how long do you need then? And I was like, I mean, I don't know how long works for you. less than 3 months. It has to be less than 3 months. And I was like, oh, okay. He was like, is that a yes? I was like, yes. Shook his hand out, shook my hand, walked off. Just shuts the door.
No contract, no sign of contract or anything?
I'm still sitting there in the office, and he's left, and the office is empty.
Taking his shoes and socks? Or?
No, I don't think he had. It was his office, right? It was like his office. So I was like, is he going to come back? Do I just leave? Like, what do I do? And he just like reopens the office door, and he just goes, you cut grass as well, didn't you? And I was like, yes. He's like, 116 of those as well, please. Less than 3 months. Like, shut the door. So I just let myself out, left. And I went back and told Lee, and he was like, how did it go? I was like, I don't really know. I can think that it went really well, but it was weird. So yeah, we had 3 months to go from like 6 staff to like deliver that project. Probably as a bare bones crew, we need 30 people.
Wow.
35, probably 35 people. So we did that, called in a load of favours, kissed a load of frogs, like, because you kind of had to make do with, within reason, who you could have. And like the bigger thing is, like, I think people don't realise is, when you have to grow that quickly, everyone will say to you, like, I hear people say about Andy, like, oh, lucky though. Like,
Yeah, no.
well, it's great. Like, how are you going to put, like as of today, I think we have 51 vans on the road, right?
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to go from having 6 vans to a minimum of 30 vans in 3 months?
The truth.
It's insane.
The truth is
That's not
that
luck.
the truth is that even to be lucky, you have to be in the right place at the right time. It's like fishing, in it, big fishermen, right?
Yeah.
And like sometimes, it's luck. But if you're not there, so if you don't put yourself in the position, you don't have the right equipment, you don't put yourself out there, you're never gonna get lucky.
No.
And that guy in the pub or that person that's saying, oh, he's just lucky, just don't put themselves out there. If you don't,
It's my favourite saying. It says, "Hard work will take you where opportunity will find you."
Yeah.
And that's true.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Very true.
Of course, there's an element of like it's fortunate. You said yes, they were there. Like for us as well, like Home Bargains, it was at the right time. They were small enough to take a chance on a little business like us.
Yeah.
We I had nothing to lose because we had no money. I wasn't scared of failing. We weren't afraid to grow as quickly as they wanted to.
yeah.
So I think it was kind of.
But
a perfect storm.
you can put yourself strategy wise.
Yes.
We said it like last time. There's no point in just working hard.
No.
Yep.
Because you can work really hard and dig a hole. If you don't dig that hole in the right place, you don't get paid for it. It's a useless hole. So you've just got to strategize and put yourself in the right places at the right time, and then you get lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. You make your own luck, don't you?
Make your luck.
You do make your, because there's an element of an appetite for risk as well, and people have got different appetites for risk. So those in the pub that are saying,
I gotta be honest.
I saw a twinkle in his eye. Then
that's me and Andy's worst point. I would say is we are both massive risk takers.
Yeah.
Like.
Well,
You've got
but it's a calculated risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you are taking risk, but it's calculated.
I think so, but I think as well, my logic on
not?
that is every day is a risk anyway. At some point today, some other builder is trying to win Andy's work. Right now, there is another company trying to steal my. There is always an element of competition. You have to. If you don't take a risk, you will never get the reward.
No.
It's different. There's a very big difference, I think, between taking risks and being reckless. Like some people will not have a plan and they'll go, I'm going to go buy X, Y, and Z. Like I hear loads of people, like people who've worked for me, and they'll go, I tell you what, I'm going to go buy a 7.5 ton digger and a trailer and a tractor, and I'm going to go to work next week.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's great. So where are you going to work? Well, but people want. People are not just going to come and find you.
It's got to
you
stack.
have to have a plan.
I'll take a risk, but it's got to stack. I stack something first. So if you if you were a cafe and you have 9 tables in a cafe and you're going to have 11 people working in that cafe, it's never going to work.
No.
Like it just doesn't work. You see people come up with ideas and they just don't actually even. So I go with my strategy on stuff is I hope for the worst, hope for the best, plan for the worst.
Yeah.
So if you work everything out on the worst numbers and it pretty much works, I'll take a punt on it.
Yeah.
And like if then more often than not, it doesn't work anything like you ever imagined it was going to work anyway.
Yeah.
But if it was a good idea, you just change your strategy slightly and things do work. You know what I mean? It pretty much never goes like you think it's going to go. Do you know what I mean? Like it's one of those.
Well, you're acknowledging the risk, aren't you? You're looking at the risk
Yeah.
and then going, right, what does that mean? If it goes pop, then where am I going to be? Am I going to be really in the sticky
Well, as
stuff?
you said, the risk is if you don't do something different, what you will end up is the same result as somebody else.
Yeah.
So so if unless you change something, some part of it, or you aim for a different spot, you ain't gonna get there.
Yeah.
No.
I was going to ask you about being kind of staying static and whether, because you can find, going after growth after both of you have been through that growth, you can find a level of comfort, can't you? And you could kind of go, oh, that was tough. I'm just going to stay here now. And, but then you could kind of whittle away, couldn't you, I guess? Or competitors.
The tough times, they don't last forever.
No.
And I've been there at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, my hands on my head, sitting on the end of the bed. Yeah. Nightmare.
Was that after you looked at
Were you nervous?
That was normally after I've been for a weekend with Pete.
He said his credit card bill.
the credit card bill. And and the truth is that in that moment, if someone asked you how you feel, you'd be like, I would pack all this in right now. Yeah. And then every night when you have a win, you just want to go and do everything. So I think just making the decisions when you're in the middle ground, when you're between the highs and the lows, sort of making your decisions. As I said, having show me your friends, show your future, and having people around you that you can trust, you can rely on. You get it wrong, you trust the wrong people, or maybe sometimes you're in the wrong and you deal with things the wrong way. Things don't work out, don't pan out as you thought they were going to work out, and those are the toughest situations personally for me. Because money's just money, isn't it? Money comes and goes. Yeah. Having money brings its own problems. It's a different thing altogether. But that situation of not taking the good times too well, not taking the bad times too hard, I think is kind of quite a important thing.
You hear elite athletes saying about that, don't they? Don't get too high off the highs and don't get too low off the lows, and it's the same thing. Coming on to that one point you said, I can't remember which one of you said it last time, but if you're the one friend in 10 that are successful, or if there's 9 people that are successful and you're their mates, you're gonna be the 10th. You're gonna be.
But if you're
number 10,
with 9 idiots, you're gonna be the 10th idiot.
Exactly that. Yeah, definitely. Well, I think I've broken that rule actually.
Yeah.
But let's move on.
I'd hate to see your friends.
No, I'm an idiot.
Well, following on from what Andy said, though, I think the other thing is as well, the thing for me, which has been invaluable, though, is, having people who work with you, like the managers who work with me, there is no way, if I'm volunteering a stupid idea, they'll just go, oh yeah, let's do that because Pete said. Having people who will challenge you a bit as well, because I think, when you've had a run of things go well, you kind of just assume that the next thing is going to go well, and it doesn't always. And we did something a couple of years ago. I remember speaking to Andy, and actually Andy said we shouldn't have done it, and we decided to. But we got the opportunity through as a subcontractor to do a load of work. It was a lot. It was about $500,000 a year's worth of work for Co-op, doing our landscaping and stuff. And there's not a problem with Co-op or the company we landscape for, but the margins were just too low. They didn't suit our business. Yeah. We put it out to a vote. We pretty much put everything out to a vote through the managers, and we all said we'd give it a go. But 6 months later, it was seeing everybody off. It was absolutely seeing everybody off. But the problem you've got then is you were used to that income. You're used to that income, you become really comfy, and you think, well, yes, everyone's miserable, but it's that much money per year. It's a lot of money. But I think, having people who will sit you down and say that there's got to be a better way we can make this money. We don't have to have it this hard. Yeah. And probably the biggest thing and the best thing that we've done as a business is we just gave that back. And they, as a company, I don't think they'd ever had that before. We just handed it back, and they said, well, what are you doing? We were like, well, can't make it work. Well, we're not right for you. You're not right for us. It's not. It's no hard feelings. You don't fit with us. What we want to achieve. Yep. And we're going to make life too hard for you. You're going to start getting annoyed that we can't deliver what you want because you've promised possibly the client too high. So I think it was a really big learner for me that it's actually okay sometimes. If something isn't working, just cut it off and give it back. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. And value the people. If someone says to you there's a problem, you can't know everything. It could be really silly of you to assume because it's your business, I understand everything. Yet I don't understand it. I understand a little bit. Yeah. But the other people I trust, they're going to understand a little bit. And between all of us, we understand a lot. Yeah. And then that's a win.
Yeah, we take, I think, 1 in 14 inquiries. We go and see, and I probably convert 1 in 5 of those. Wow. And Pete's you've always been I'll take whatever comes.
Yeah,
I'll
volume.
take whatever comes and I'll make it work.
Yeah, volume. Yeah.
Like I'll take it. And
100%.
I think I've really learned from each other a little bit there because I've actually gone, do you know what, actually no, there's probably some more clients out there which I can take and I can make it work.
Yeah.
And you've gone the other way where you've gone, actually I'm going to be a bit more selective. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of learning
100%.
probably
For sure,
we've taken from each other there, which has been useful.
So both models are work. Both models, you've made both models work, haven't you? Which is great. And if you can take a bit from each, then that's...
Well, it's actually, you said, no, like, so it was a thing you said there, touched on, is that we're not, neither of us reading off a script.
Yeah.
We just make it, write the tune, sing the
make-up
tune, you know?
Yeah.
It's like literally, see what I mean? Like, so, and it's probably like, I don't think you didn't really fit school very well. I didn't fit education at all. Badly dyslexic, take the mick out about my text messages and WhatsApp messages and stuff, because like, not even I can read them. And,
like Morse code machine, you're probably better at Morse code.
If you've got
your gift game is good though. You're really good at those gifts.
The gift game is strong.
It's strong, yeah.
Yeah, it is strong. It's normally because when I'm searching for a GIF, I've spelt it wrong, so I get alternative GIFs to other people.
He like unlocks a new level.
Yeah,
Like, he is so creative.
What a boy.
He doesn't know the difference between a passive and a facet. If you don't fit that world, you either you have to take a job you don't like, because you didn't fit the education, so you don't want to educate it, no one wants to take you on. You either fit a job or you create your own job. And once you create your own job, if you're good at it and other people buy into it, what you actually create is your own world. Like, I remember Dan in my office, one of the boys who works with me, he sat next to me, he said, "This is mental." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." He's like, we were like, and he's going back for a little bit, and he was like, I was like, we were talking about like the world and stuff, and he was like, the thing is that you've just made your own world. Yeah. This is this is your own, what didn't fit for you, you've eradicated, taken it out, and you've just made your own environment, basically. Which
You've gone on your strengths, haven't you? What your strengths
and if you're not very good at like reading, writing, and everything else, the only way you get along is just by asking other people to do it for you.
Yeah,
I mean, Amela is stupendously
eloquent. So you just find people, and you say, innit? You find someone who's better at an aspect of what you require than you would be. And when you're not very good at a lot of things, that's really easy.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's good at social media, I know that.
Yeah.
The art of delegation is is really key though, isn't it? Because I'm rubbish at that. I have to really work hard to delegate, because maybe a trust thing and maybe articulating how I do it as well.
I was going to say that's the thing. I assume people are telepathic and they understand what I've got in this peanut little head I've got. Yeah.
It's not a little head.
I think when you thank you. when you do delegate.
Yeah.
So like I've had a couple of bits what I've done, right, and it's gone wrong.
Yeah.
And I've done it again, but with different personnel, it's gone right.
Yeah.
And I've then realised that it's a simple analogy, right? But you would never use a bricklayer to paint.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to force if you have a business model or a system that will work, and you kind of think in your head it should work, but you put the wrong people into it, it's never going to work.
No.
If you have the wrong system and you put the right people into it, it's never going to work.
Yeah.
So it's again strategy in how you put what people into what positions within the business is key, isn't it?
And I think that is naively, I think that's probably the one ingredient that is the main ingredient for a business getting to a certain threshold that's just a kind of small business, and then a business like you guys go to a medium and a large business, because you think that way and you kind of have the foresight to delegate and trust.
I'm sure there'll be boys that are like far further along their business journeys than we are. Will watch us. Sure, I'm actually, if anyone does, just kind of have a chat with us and tell us what we're doing wrong now. Well, that's it. Do you know what I mean?
That's it, isn't it? You're keen
all
to learn.
Years. Yeah.
And don't even bother with me, because I can't even open my car
trying
door.
to explain to me earlier what you actually did was like trying to get blood up a stone.
Yeah, but that goes back to delegation, because I don't understand what I do. I can't explain what I do.
So you boys have had another business venture. Was that before all this started, or is it alongside?
Like as I said, like my business journey started in school, selling sweets.
Yeah.
From selling sweets in school to washing cars and selling a car washing rounds. Starting an apprenticeship. Then going in from that was hobbling. So like basically you earn so little money when you're in school. I mean, I was earning far more money in school selling sweets than I was when I was in an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And then having to travel to get a good apprenticeship. It was like smack in the middle of the recession, so I was down to Carmarthen, past Carmarthen, down to Tenby every day. And basically, by the time you run a car, and I crashed loads of cars, crashed plenty of cars in my first year. Like by the time I was running a car, different one every month, that was all my money gone. You know, I mean, I still paid rent and stuff at home, so like stopping on the way, then you start to learn what you can make money on and what you can't. So like having a set of ladders on your roof and stopping with a few different slates in the roof and knocking someone's house and saying, do you want me to fix that tile for 30 quid? Do 3 of those on the way home, it's 90 quid.
Yeah.
That's instinct.
Isn't that good?
That's a business instinct, though, isn't it? You know, and at an early age, you're showing that instinct.
Looking for work.
What was your best seller when you were selling sweets?
Refreshers.
I was just about to say refreshers.
Wham
mate,
bars.
I was right. So I would.
Love a wham bar.
So I used to.
They don't do them anymore.
I think I was probably again strategy, right? So I nicked my mum's macro card.
Oh yeah.
And I went to macro. I didn't realise it would send her the statement, even though I paid cash. Yeah. So my mum cottoned on to the fact that I was buying sweets. And then she got in on it because she realised there was money in it, right? So my mum was buying sweets from macro, and I was giving her a cut. And then I was going to school with
your mum on the payroll.
Mate, I had my mum on the payroll. My mum has always been on the payroll. I will say that, mate. She's where I got the sniff of how to like where to go for and where not to go for. You know, if she's a teacher, and if she hadn't gone into teaching, she'd gone into business, she'd have done very well for herself. My mum, but she just didn't. You know, she was one of the that age group where you just didn't do that. You know, you just conformed. Yeah. So, like I was. But by the time I finished school, I used to have other people sell sweets for me. So I'd go to school with a couple of rucksacks, and the other kids would sell them for me, just give me the money at the end of the day.
Roadmen.
But my best seller was an Astro Belt, right? So they were like long, sort of flat, kind of sour red.
Oh, I remember those.
So those Astro Belts. And I would get halfway through the box. If I knew I was going to sell out, I'd sell them, I think it was at 10 pence each, and I'd sell extra long ones for 20 pence, and I would literally stretch them as I pulled them out the box. So that they were longer. Yeah.
any trading standards will have you for that. It's got to be weighed out.
Yeah, any client of Green's now, he's grown out of that now.
Yes.
If he says I'm a 2.4 feds, don't you worry, mate. It's definitely a 1.8.
It's a 1.8, yeah. I'm definitely selling the offcuts to someone else.
Yeah.
To me. You're selling to me.
I'm about to say.
How did you guys meet then? Because that's an interesting story.
The first time I'm going to take that one. The first time I saw Pete, it was down Crawley Woods, and this little ball of blubber just ran down the beach towards me, and I was in the sea. It was a little bit of a swell running. I was body surfing. He was like, "What are you doing, bud?" Pretty much. What are you doing? I was like, body surf. So, teach me how to do it.
That's exactly how it was. I'd love to have a retort for that. That's exactly how it went.
He went in, he was like, "Oh, it's cold, mate." Had to go a couple of times, didn't work. He was like, "Sadder than looks." Tried back up the beach.
And quit.
How old were you at this point?
Young.
Yeah, it's got to be like 10, 8?
Yeah, 10. I think I'd be. You were a couple of years old.
He loves it. Here we go.
He's a couple of years older than he.
My violin's on charge in a car.
It's taken him 24 months to grow that moustache.
Yeah, did he have the moustache last time?
So, no, honestly, I did have the moustache.
That's November.
This is a January. I'm just a late bloomer, is what it is. I'm just a late bloomer. I'm not very hairy. This will not be a slug for another 6 months.
Slug.
What was the description you came up with?
One of the boys in work said to me, he was like, "Oh, Pete, love that tush, mind." I was like, "Oh, nice one." I thought he was being genuine. He was like, "You look like you've been eating honey and blowing dandelions." And I did laugh, and then I fired him. I did.
Shots fired.
No, I didn't.
So that was at 8 to 10 years old in the sea.
Yeah, and then we did some logs together. Didn't we?
I said yeah. I'm about to say after the thingy, we started the log business. The log business was the hot tub thing where we went on holiday. We did a
Chernobyl.
Yeah, we did Chernobyl. We did a
test it with the kids.
You heard that joke?
No.
Never buy pants from there? 'Cause
I've not heard that.
Chernobyl fallout.
Pigs and blankets tips.
Yeah, pigs and blankets. That was us this morning.
Pigs and
Yeah, the
blankets.
tip, yeah.
That was a dad joke. I have no kids, unfortunately. The plump. It wasn't plump. It was a plump crew, right? But we had this holiday. It was supposed to be lad. We were off the boat, not just
It's
off
called the Plumpers because a group of our friends, we used to like once a year at Christmas time, we would just get like a big house because obviously with religion we don't do Christmas, right? So what we would do, we would just all have a massive social over the Christmas period. So the first one we went to was Plump down in Carmarthenshire. So we've just got a group called the Plumpers. But it's not. It's not. That was just the first holiday.
Yeah.
And then the second one was where was it?
Was it land the second
Well,
one?
it was the A470.
The A470, yeah. It was just off the A470. We have to go shortened version of this. But basically, we'd booked it because it was a hot tub.
Yeah.
One of the girls had booked it on her credit card.
We were all
And
very poor at the time as well.
we were all very, very poor. I was actually the singing hero because I just bought a tipper. And it wasn't brand new, but it was new to me.
Yeah.
And it was in really good nick. And,
And
it
the
was like
kids were sliding down the back.
there was literally, like, we were putting it up and the kids were just rolling down the back of it. It was like, fantastic.
It's class.
And
When they say kids, you mean you two?
Me and
yeah, me and you obviously had to try it out first, didn't it? Stress the hydraulic straight away. Piston was never the same again. And basically, they had the hot tub, but it was on a spring. And he said the water was on a spring. And he said, don't put the water in the hot tub. We went in, the kids splashed all the hot tub out. We were like, we're just going to fill it up.
Yeah.
We hooked up a bit of a dummy feed from the sink to put it in there. One of the boys was a bit of a plumber. We filled it up and we broke the hot tub. It turned into Guinness. The water it had too much iron in it. It was like
just red. It stained everyone's clothes.
It was
The kids were in a bit
Oh,
of a mess.
we ruined the holiday. We stained the kids. I mean, everyone thinks that kids, like, Leah's part Jamaican, and they think that Trav and Tia have a tan that they don't. They just still stain.
Well, you can see
from
they
the
don't
hot
get
tub
it from
instead
me.
of-
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. It's due to the pollutants at the A470 holiday.
The A470. So this water just turned into Guinness.
That was insane.
We ruined the holiday. The girl who'd booked it on her credit card was like, "Don't put the water in there." We did it anyway. We
She lost the plot. Went home.
went home. It was terrible. And while we were in isolation, where me and Pete
We
were,
got sent to the naughty
we
room.
got
It was
sent to
obviously
the
our
naughty room.
fault. We got sent to the naughty room.
we were like, Pete
It
was
was,
like,
there was a fire in there. It was a log fire.
log fire. That's exactly what it was. It was a log fire.
Yeah.
We were like, I bet some money in logs. Bet some money in logs. And Pete was like, oh, I tried to do a little bit because you had a unit in Llanelli at the time.
That's right. Yeah.
So you had a unit in Llanelli at the time, and we were like, we went on Facebook, found Scuba Steve's place.
That's right. Yeah.
We'd never met at that. Did you met him?
No, I never met
No,
him,
we never met him at that time.
No,
So we
no.
found him on Facebook Marketplace. We found this makeshift log splittery thing. We went up there. We bought this log splitter.
Yeah.
Pete came out looking like a Swiss Army knife because he bought everything that the guy had because it was like
Oh,
just
like
all
field
super cheap.
He obviously had cleared out like a surplus army supply. Mate, I came out with like bullet hole dress,
He literally-
trauma bandages. And all
Do you remember
G.I.
like?
Joe.
Do you remember the Action Man? That the little one with like the full everything on. Pete literally
was
looked
me.
like him. Like,
That's
it
so
was
Pete.
hilarious. Yeah.
And it cost me about 11 quid.
Yeah, it was. It was. So we had this makeshift on a trailer log splitter that was like an RSJ with a tractor ram and a splitter
great,
head
wasn't
on it, which was great. It was so good that we got him to. I can't remember if we bought the other one. We got to make him
got
another
to
one.
make another one,
Made another one, so we went and picked that up. And then, as I said, that was when at the point of really starting to work businesses out for me because I was like,
We went and shared a unit then as well, didn't we? At the similar kind of time.
we didn't talk about him. Leighton, remember Leighton?
Oh yeah, flipping heck, yeah.
Mate, Swansea Industrial Components, which is down there, right? Leighton was down there.
I know.
What
I
an
knew him.
interesting bloke he was. He made the thermostat switch in a kettle.
Like
Like
no,
that.
the kettle lead. No, the kettle lead.
Yes.
Yeah,
Everyone
that's-
thinks he made the switch, but he
No, it's
he
the
made
kettle
the
lead. It's the actual lead.
he made the
you
curly
know?
kettle lead,
Was it?
Yeah.
and he sold it to Russell Hobbs,
That's it.
did he, or something?
That's it, yeah.
And
Oh wow.
Legend of a guy.
Yeah, mental bloke.
Sadly-
ledge of a guy, right? So we shared that unit down there, and I said that was one of our probably me and Pete's first friction in the business. Is that logs was Pete had done it before me, and then we just had an idea. I had organised that while my boys were running around picking stuff up in the tipper, we'd been picking timber up off tree surgeons. I
He's
ended
being
up with this.
modest. He streamlined it.
I streamlined it.
Yeah.
Streamlined it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I streamlined it. I had this massive pile of timber, and then it was one of those ones. There was a bit of friction, but we just sat down and sorted it out.
I think that's the one thing we've always been good at, though. Isn't it? We've never had a falling out, have we?
No.
It's because I'm always right anyway. But no, I think, do you know, like, I think a lot of people like misconstrue straight talk with rudeness.
Yeah.
I think it is absolutely fine. And like in work with us, like I'm quite fortunate. Like our three main managers, like Joel, we got like Jack, we got Tristan, and we got Taylor. They've all played sport. They're all used to really straight talk. Yeah. So if we've got something we want to talk about, we'll all have a really like honest and abrupt sometimes conversation. As long as it's rude, though. As long as it's not rude, it's completely fine. It's more direct, it's quicker, it's to the point. And I think that's something me and Andy have always been good at. We've just always been really straight with each other. Yeah. It's fine. It's not awkward if you're straight.
Since we last spoke, because this is take 2, I've genuinely taken that into my daily life. Because I'm rubbish at that, straight talking. I'm rubbish. And it's something I've actively been working on since that. And it works.
It definitely does.
Sometimes it's really hard at the time.
Of course it is.
But actually, afterwards, the longer something goes on and it's not spoken about, the worse it gets, isn't it? You know, so sometimes you just have to speak your mind, and the other person has to speak their mind. And sometimes it's okay to disagree.
100%. Yeah,
and you just have to disagree. But like that one there was literally, we sat down. I had this huge pile of timber, and it was actually really annoying. I can't remember the guy's son, Anthony or something. It was really annoying.
He did not like that.
He just didn't like this big pile of timber. So I said to Pete, I was like. Pete was like, look, it was kind of our thing, logs, you obviously coming in there, we put half the money into it now, we've got this huge pile of timber, I don't really want to match it because you'd have to have bought a lorry of timber, and that would have cost him quite a lot of money, whereas it didn't really cost me anything to collect this while I was out and about. So I was like, hands up, what do you want to do? Do you want to just buy me out? Shall I buy you out? Do you want to just work out a way to even that? And then you just said at the time, well, you may as well just buy me out, so I bought Pete out. And it was we kept records of what we'd spent on it and everything else like that. It was no arguments. It's
not awkward.
No,
I think if you're both straight, it shouldn't be awkward at all. Like a difference of opinion is completely natural. What you see is true on one thing and I see as false on another. Sometimes that can be the same thing. Like it doesn't matter.
Just perspective.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I hate you for it. It just means my opinion is different to yours.
So you didn't send you barking mad?
No. Have you been teeing that up for ages?
Honestly, for about 5 minutes. I was going to give you some stick for it. I'll leave it alone.
I'll sleep like a log tonight, mate. Don't worry.
It's bad.
We branched off. Sorry, mate.
It's bad.
I'll go all day, mate.
But it was one of those.
We've lost.
No, I was thinking, what do you do to switch off? Oakwood Park.
We've all got our own strengths.
What do you do to switch off then, boys?
Truth is, like I'm either awake or I'm asleep. Do you know what I mean? Like it's there's no off. But
that's mostly just to be clear. If you're not awake, you're asleep. That's fairly common for human beings.
But I mean, in the term of like I'm 100% or I'm sleeping. It's one or the other. Like there's no real switching off for me.
What about Vegas then? Because the cuisine in Vegas is.
I'm going
to tell a story.
I'm glad because I don't want to. I'm still bitter about it, to be honest.
So I just thoroughly enjoyed this. It's where I'm gonna have to make it short again. But basically, we went to this place that the girls wanted to go to. It was actually quite a nice steak place. It was called Bazaar Meats. What?
It wasn't. It was
Bazaar Meats.
Bazaar Meats. But we opted to, and I don't mind. Like I don't mind a bit of stuff.
Mate, the truth is, it should have been half price. They didn't even cook it.
They did.
Or give you all of it.
So basically. We did this 5-course tasting menu. Pete got strong-armed into doing it as well. Pete is a Penlan. I like my
steak well done.
Steak well done, and it could be horse, and I wouldn't know the difference. Like that's where he's at. Very well done with a plate of salty chips. And the first thing that came out was a duck's liver on a cocktail stick wrapped in candy floss. And at that point, I knew that this was going to be probably one of the funniest nights of my life.
Well, Andy's not saying right. He was sitting there, right? Honestly, now, because there was a bit of friction, right? So
his nostrils are going now. When Pete's uncomfortable, if he gets uncomfortable or something's not quite right, his nostrils start to flare. So they get bigger and bigger.
So how this went? What he's definitely underplaying here, right? Is to be fair, me and Andy again down to being really straight with each other. I landed. He goes, "What do you want to do about eating out?" I was like, "I tell you what, you do one day, I do the other." Amazing, right? So. We go for a couple of lovely meals. We had some lovely scran out there. Last day, the girls like buzzing to go to this place. We get there, and it does look awesome. But we do decide it. So my missus, I go to, no, I don't, because what it says is do the share menu. Ideally suits teams of 4, minimum of 2, right? So I went, I'm not really up for this. Like, I quite like just a T-bone steak and chips. Be lovely. Yeah. She said, no, go on, try it. And Andy's sitting next to her going, yeah, go on. It'll be fine, mate. Yeah, go on. Like this, right? And then Tiff is missus, because Tiff, unless she's had 3 glasses of wine, she's the nicest person on planet Earth, right? She's going to be, you love it. Go on, you love it. So I'm completely peer pressured into taking this meal I do not want, right? And it was $300 or something for this meal, right? The guy comes out with this candy, this liver and candy floss. My missus is now looking like this because she could tell I'm fuming. And he's like this, just sitting there. He's just bouncing. And the worst thing is, the waiter was, because he knew this whopping tip at the end, everything's 20% America, right? He's standing there, he's like, try it, guys. He's like, looking. I'm like,
I'm going to do this. So Pete goes like this. Pete goes to this. He's now peer pressured to eating this thing that he didn't want. And it wasn't $300. The best part of this meal is it cost Pete $2,000. This meal, right? Actually cost him $2,000. Funniest thing I've ever seen is he gets this candy floss stack and just goes like that. And basically puts the steak back down. I didn't even see him eat it. He could have thrown it over his shoulder.
Mate, I just inhaled it.
And this waiter, who's obviously used to serving quite posh people, has never seen anything like this before in his entire life, mate. You should have seen his face, Pete's nostrils, and the amount I was laughing the whole situation. It was fantastic.
They all keep going to me like, he'll get better. A couple of courses now, it's Wagyu beef. I was like,
so he doesn't like anything raw, doesn't like anything done. Next thing was steak tartare with the raw egg in the middle of it.
Right. It's exactly the same as what I feed my dog. Exactly the same. And I tell you what, I could feed my dog for 6 months. Right?
and then the next thing they bring is this Wagyu beef then, and they wouldn't serve it to him well done. So he's literally...
I was like, no, I'll have it a bit longer. And he's like, no, sir. No. But the best thing is, mate, before that, right, we had this thing called like Kobe. It's like some kind of special Wagyu. I kid you not, right? I thought this guy's... I thought, honestly, now Beadle's going to jump out and like prank me there. He pulls out this Wagyu, this Kobe beef. He then brings out a table, then brings out a bonsai bush, then brings out a certificate, places it in the bonsai bush, and reads us like a little spiel about the cow we're going to eat, right?
Provenance.
Mate, he goes, so the reason... So I said to him, why have we got like a laminate, right? For such a plush restaurant, the certificate looked like I'd done it on Microsoft Word and laminated it, right? It was
word art.
It was horrendous, right? And I was like, why the certificate? And he was like, what it is, the chef wants you to feel how he felt when he viewed the flock. He was next to a bonsai tree in this part of Japan. I was like, you're having me long. So he passes the certificate. Like, I know what I'm reading.
You can take the boy out of the land, but you cannot take the land out of the boy.
And it was gross. It wasn't even that nice, was it?
I thought it was fine, you know.
Did you think it was
there's Kobe beef. I'm sure they play like opera music and feed them beer and stuff.
They do. I think, yeah.
Sure they do.
Funny.
Let me tell you, it's never been more wasted on a human being than on me. What a waste.
You didn't like the taste of it?
He was like, mate, it's like butter. It's like butter.
I will say,
a beef of that quality, it should melt in your mouth.
I am a bit of a foodie, and the problem was with it is the guy was trying to make it so fancy, he messed around for so long that by the time he served this food, it's actually cold.
Yeah,
and it's starving.
So it was, it was really, really nice beef, but I like my steak medium rare and rare side of medium, but I like it warm through.
Yeah.
So it was such a performance.
Oh, it was
right,
insane.
honestly,
it was absolutely insane.
It could have been the worst tasting meal of my life, and it would still be my most favourite meal I've ever had, ever, hands down, ever. You could have fit. You could have potted a black ball up Pete's nose, mate.
Yeah, mate, I
should have seen it.
You've never seen. No one has ever sat in that restaurant.
I tried at one point. I was like, I think he's actually going to lose it. Like when the guy was like,
I was semi-close.
He's cooking this bit of beef for Pete on the thing. He's like miniature little wag with this beef on the hot stone.
Yeah.
And he goes to take it off for Pete. I thought Pete was going to grab his arm and just hold his arm on. Make him cook it a bit more.
So I go to him, mate, can you keep it on a bit longer for me?
And you saying no?
He was like, no,
he was not having it. He wasn't having it.
I was like, no, I want this on there for longer. But no, I had what I was given, is what I did. I went down like a cup of cold sec, mate.
And then you had to give him a $400 tip.
Oh, that's the best thing. My! Because I think the meal was $1,600, and then what they do is they like they put on the bottom like recommended tip of 20% or whatever. So it ended up costing me the best part of $2,000 for a meal, and it was the worst meal I've ever had in my life.
And rumour has it you had a kebab on the way home.
Well, the rumour has it, mate. The only saving grace I have is it made me really ill in the night, right? And Andy was so smug. I got up in the morning. I was like, please tell me that made you ill. He was like, no. But now knowing it's made you ill, it's made it even better for me. So not even that. It made me ill as well. Oh, it was gross, mate. Gross.
That's a sign of a great friend, I think.
So,
What a waste.
so who's paying for the meal in Abu Dhabi then?
Oh, this fella. Let me tell you this fella.
I will, because it's all inclusive.
It is. He's done me like a kipper. Yeah,
Done you
He
again.
has absolutely done me.
No, we're buzzing, are we?
Yeah, it's
To
going to
go,
be great.
but I've never been to the F1 before,
No.
so no, I'm really looking forward to
Pit
it.
passes.
Yeah.
Pit
on the-
passes, got to see the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
That's class.
Flying
Yeah.
Wednesday.
What about Shania Twain, mate?
Shania Twain.
What is
Shania Twain. This is how bad my reading is, right? So I
You
ring
thought
my
it was Sister
missus.
Sledge,
So
didn't you?
Steve Irwin.
No, it's better than that, right? This is
not a
how
motive.
bad my dyslexia is. So I ring my missus, and I'm like, Tiesto or someone's playing the first night, Chris Brown is playing the second night. I was like, I've never heard of this person before. Shania Twain? Shania Twain. Obviously, it is Shania Twain. I just can't read. So my missus was like, "Do you mean Shania Twain is there?" And then she was tapping because she was like, "I said I wouldn't come if I knew Shania Twain was going. I would have come." Oh, it was funny as hell.
Well, your way out of that is no, it is Shania. No,
Shania.
Shania.
Low budget
Yeah.
Tribute
cousin.
act, isn't it?
Yeah.
Me and my missus were in random story. Me and my missus were in New York, right, and we were gonna go somewhere, and it was cancelled. So we were looking for something to do, and my missus was like, "The Red Hot Chili Peppers are playing here, and it's like £12 a ticket."
No,
like,
they're not.
Let's do it. So she booked it. On our way there, she just went, "It's the Red Hot Chili Pipers. They're a bagpipe band."
You went to watch Michael Flatley, mate.
They're a Scottish band.
They're
They're a Scottish band of 30 guys that don't wear pants under their kilts.
Ooh.
So both of us were happy, me and my missus. It was good.
Happy days.
Now, have you been to the Formula One before? Either
No.
of you?
Never been. I love it though. I do
I've
love
been to
it.
Formula One. I've been to Belgian Formula One track, Spa,
Class.
but I've not.
But
I've been watching that
there were no F1
Drive to
cars.
Survive today. Have you seen it on
Yeah.
Netflix?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Have you
Class.
seen the Brawn GP thing as
No.
well? So you know the Brawn GP in 2009 they won
is
the
that
Formula One?
Disney? Is that actually a Disney?
In Disney,
thing?
it's on Disney.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch.
I
It's
reckon-
on the
There's
Oh, wow.
4 episodes,
Is it?
right? It's amazing. So basically, Brawn, what's his first name? Ross Brawn.
Ross Brawn.
He worked for Ferrari, then he started working with Honda. It went bust in 2008 because of the economic crisis. So
You'll love it.
Brawn bought
good,
it for £1
Bought it for £1.
Get
and
out.
then run the
So
team. But
it was in a bad place, so you know to
Yeah.
pay the redundancies and all that kind of stuff.
It's Honda a Red Bull, aren't they?
no, Honda were Red Bull now, but this is the new Mercedes. This is the Mercedes team
Oh,
now.
wow.
So
And they won
honestly,
it. They won it, didn't they?
Yeah,
He
and
bought it
No way.
and won it.
won the championship, and they had to get rid of 700 employees or something. They
Oh,
had
no.
to. This was while Bernie and Max Mosley were kind of trying to split all the drivers. Created FOTA, Formula One Team Association or
Wow.
something, where they tried to split Formula One. It's really
It's-
good.
Oh, it's
What
out already on Netflix. On Disney.
On Disney.
On Disney, yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's
Good.
one of those things. You roll back to a bit of business again, right? Is that
Brilliant.
we say it all the time. You are only ever one decision
Yeah.
through
Yep.
making doubling your profit or your turnover,
Yep.
or completely going through
Yep.
the earth.
Yeah.
Like you're only ever one decision away
Yeah.
from that.
And I think that is the thing. That is not for everybody.
No.
I mean, do you know that worry about being self? And it doesn't matter if you are a one-man band selling ice cream down the beach or you
Yeah.
are the owner of a huge company. That is the thing I think is not for everybody. And that's the thing that is the hardest, I think. Because you don't just worry. Initially, you worry about yourself. And then when there's more of you, you worry about other people.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, that's the thing that's
I
hard.
said, like I said before, that my worry is not being able to deliver someone I've told something I'm going to deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's integrity, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is
Like a really
That's
expensive meal in Dubai.
yeah, exactly.
Can
Yeah,
you
that's
imagine
good.
if he doesn't
Oh,
deliver that?
Yeah,
I
if he
can't
does, because he
wait.
does owe you.
I can't wait. I'll pick
He
the
does
plate
owe
up.
you.
I'll put the food on it for you.
But I tell you what,
I'll pick you up a piece of rare meat they got, mate. You'll be all right out there. It's a Muslim country.
See, well,
Yeah,
that'd
you'd
be
be
it'd be good. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
One thing I was going back to that is I was going to ask you guys about confidence in a bit, but because I always doubt decisions and I have to deliberate over. And watching that program, Ross Brawn, right, is a really level-headed guy. He doesn't show any emotion at all, but seeing an insight into the kind of emotional turmoil he was going through, you're like, right, everyone goes through it to a degree. Everyone has that self-doubt or that kind of deliberation, whereas looking outwards in, looking from the outside in.
I think
looking out,
whatever you said, like for Swansea, there's some really cool people coming through now. We were talking about like the AU boys.
Yeah.
Imagine like the pressure they feel, right? Because I know Jackson, I don't know Charlie, but imagine like the pressure me and Pete feel. We came from nothing. Like no money, no one ever gave us any money or anything else like that. We don't know the AU boys have, but obviously their fathers are both really successful. Imagine they tried to start that business up and they failed. Everyone would just think they were a laughing stock. You had all the backing, you had all the help, and just couldn't make it work. Yep. It's actually more pressure than someone like me and Pete. Because if I fail, everyone will can't, as I said, it's something I really want to try and get. Not me, but it would be lovely to see. Is that I think it's a Welsh thing. Everyone wants to see everyone fall over. You know, it's a bad thing. But if we get away from that, it'd be brilliant. Just everybody do better. You know, I do well. Jim does well. I do well. Pete does well. Pete does well. I do well. Do you know what I mean? If everybody does well, everybody does well. You know what I mean?
So where the flipping hell am I in this scenario?
Well, if you get some good people and not me and Pete on your podcast, you do well.
I don't do well on audio anyway.
Many doors will open.
Yes.
Many doors will
it's true
open.
though, isn't it? It definitely is true.
Yeah.
It's like this place, man. People are just walking.
You're saying about confidence.
Confidence. That's what I was going to ask you guys about.
So as I said, like you got to like look. Confidence is a weird thing because I think probably the most confident people in the world are overconfident people, and they tend to fail. Yeah. Because if you were overconfident, what happens eventually? You might get a few lucky rolls of a dice, but what happens then is you're out.
Yeah.
You're out. So if you're overconfident and you're too cocky, you burn. You crash and burn. Yeah. Like that's how it works.
Get complacent as well. And
if you're underconfident, you can't be in business. Yeah. You need to go and work for someone because what happens is that you don't take those chances when they're there. Yeah. And when the chance is there, you've got to take a chance. You've got to roll the dice when the odds are in your favour. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Because when you're going back to that risk, when you're looking at that risk, you've got an element of confidence, I guess, to go, no, actually, that's worth a punt. Yeah. Whereas
so it's me with the firewood. I took the firewood business off Pete, and then I was like, right, I'm selling this at £100 a bag maximum, right? So 100 bags a year, you're doing 10 grand. 500 bags a year, you're doing 50k. Yeah. That's turnover. That's not profit. By the time you cut and split it, this business has only got so much legs. Yeah. It's only got so much capacity for turnover, and then it's huge operation for not a lot of return. Yeah. Whereas actually, there's significantly more businesses where you can buy something, sell something, or you can buy a product and sell it within a product. Within building, like I've targeted luxury building because for me to build a house with a window pack in it that cost £5,000. Yeah. The actual building cost me the same amount of money to build that house as it does like a really expensive house. Yeah. I still have to pay the same amount of money for the bricks or the same amount of money, but if I sell a window pack that's in somewhere else, it's £20,000 instead of £5,000. I can earn the same margin, so I'm expected to still earn a 10, 15, 20% margin on the 5,000 or the 20,000, but it's the same amount of work. So then that was when the firewood business for me was the one that really started my brain about going, right, if you go luxury, you're doing big turnover, you can decrease your margin a little bit and be more competitive. Yeah. If you're doing small turnover, you've got to do big margin, otherwise the business doesn't work. Yeah. So if you're doing small turnover with small margin, what you're going to earn is small profit. Yeah. And it's really simple. Yeah. And like when someone says it to you, it's really simple. But what happens when you go into a business? Because remember the first time we were going around logs, came out of it and you got flipping 2 or 3 grand in the first week cash on it. It was like, what? This is absolutely awesome, you know? Yeah. And
you want to start a logging business, James?
But then you realise, right? And then you realise, actually, we've been really stupid. We both haven't been to work all week because we've been down splitting because we're so excited.
It was great.
We were so excited and it was great. Like, and we had a good social. We took your dad. We had a great social meet. It was fantastic.
Bought the last time the Ramsey stripper.
The rusty tipper. Yeah,
rusty tipper.
Yeah. But like we got so excited, and then we come away after we paid everything with maybe £800. You're like, well, that's amazing money. But it's not. Is it? It's not when you look at. I haven't been to work. I've got to now work all weekend because the boys don't know what they're doing next week because we've been running around like giddy teenagers because we're so excited. If you break it down, it's actually really detrimental to do what we did. So then I think that, like, probably similar to Andy, I think we both realised at the same time, using your time for what's valuable. I remember the guy in Home Bargains told me something, and it's always stuck with me. And it is brutal. It's really brutal. But he said, if you've got 50 employees and you've only got 100% of your time, because I remember saying to him, he told me to read a book called The 1 Minute Manager by, I think it was Keith Blanchard, Ken Blanchard. Amazing.
Ken
Got
Blanchard.
monkeys on your back, right? Amazing.
Great.
And I remember reading this, and it's so simple. It's only a thin book, it's tiny. I remember thinking, this is blowing my head off. This is amazing. But I said to him, I still struggle. Like, I get, in the day, I can only be in so many places, and everyone wants to speak to me. And he's like, Pete, he's like, if you only have 100%, otherwise you're going to see yourself off. He's like, if you have 50 employees, each one of them has 2%. He was like, if they're making 10% of the money, give them 10% of the time. He's like, if that person is making 2% of the money, you can only give them 2% of your time. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not fair on everybody else. Because the minute you give them 50% of your time, you've only got 1% then for everybody else. And then they're going to be unhappy and they leave. And it is a savage way of looking at people like a number, but it does make it in your head. It does make it make a bit more sense. Do you know what I mean? And I think that for me, but like that was a similar realization when we did the logs, that, just because something seems like a good thing, maybe there's a better way of doing this, and the way we're doing it silly. Like, actually thinking a bit like a business person rather than somebody who's like absolutely buzzing. And I'm not downplaying running away with that much cash. It was unreal. Yeah. But if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, it was really negligent. It was silly. Do you know what I mean?
You have to take a step back, I guess, don't you? And you said something that interested me last time in terms of your time is precious.
Of course it is.
Because you have to be as efficient, don't you? And I find myself having to be conscious about that in work, because I will, don't know about you guys, but I will gravitate to the stuff that I either find easy or the things that I've done or the thing.
I think everyone's guilty.
But actually, I need to look over here and make sure that this side of the business is working well.
So the way I do it, I've got some constants. So I have someone else that runs my diary because I know that I won't do it very well. Yeah. So I have someone else that does it for me. It's like a mad thing. People are like, oh, you got someone to run your diary. It's like, yeah, well, I do a bad job. Yeah.
I'm booking Shania Twain tickets.
Exactly what I mean. Like, I wouldn't even be going. Like, I have some constants. So I have a few meetings that I have every week. One of them's here. Yeah. So I have my where I plan where all the labour's going for the next week here. Right. And I have some constants and I have some flexibles. Yeah. Because I think it's quite important to have time to go and do random stuff. Because generally, when you're doing random stuff, that's when the deals happen. Yes. If you have too much kind of fixed routine and you have no flexibility to go and do mad stuff, then that mad stuff doesn't
You're
happen.
Not going to make those opportunities.
Yeah, so I said that it just doesn't happen. If you go, if you do everything constant, certain things that have to be done, you have to obviously get your invoicing done, you have to get your quoting done, you have to do certain things, there's certain fixed parts. But I think you need to leave time to. No, you said you gravitate towards something. What is it?
Well, I from a
in your business,
from a project management side of things, that's where I've come from. So I'm like, I do that, but the commercial or the legal or that side of things.
So this is my tip to you would be the parts that you don't like, program. Yeah, you are a project manager, so put the time in to do those things, get them done. For me, I exercise first, so I'll do some sort of exercise so I've got a bit of clear space. Then I get the things I don't like done. Yeah, and then the rest of the time I don't mess around, but I then mess about with doing new business and stuff that I naturally like doing because that just happens.
Have you seen that thing? It's called Eat the Frog.
No.
It's like you should eat the frog every day. So basically, if you're...
Is this okay for...
it's completely all good. There's no frogs are going to be murdered. It's not like my...
some of our listeners are vegan, I'm sure.
Vegan listeners.
No frogs would be harmed. No, but basically, there was a thing I seen a guy on YouTube, and it's very true. And he's like, so it was a guy referring to, like, pick the hardest thing in your day. The hardest thing in your day is the frog. Yeah. If you put it off, if you procrastinate and keep it till the end, you've eaten the frog twice, you've thought about it, and you've sucked all day. And then you've eventually got to do the gross thing that you didn't want to do anyway. So you've suffered all day. Whereas if you eat the frog first thing in the morning, so if that frog is invoicing or labour meetings or legal stuff or replying to emails or going over for a jog, like whatever is the thing that you know you should do but you don't do, if you just do it first, it's done. Eat the frog, innit?
Yeah, I save the frog. I know the frog's there on the Monday, and I save it till the Friday. I'm terrible, honestly.
People
I
think
suck my life out of that
The
thing.
size of that frog head, mate, I tell you.
No, but I do. Well, in some instances, I will do that.
people
but,
think I'm mental because like they're like, what the hell are you doing in work? I'll have someone who's like going training or whatever. They'll drive past the office at 4:30 in the morning, and my car's outside.
Yeah.
And it'll be because there's a couple of bits and pieces that I've left.
Yeah.
And I get this I get anxiety build up because I haven't done them. So then I will literally, I'll be like, well, I'm not asleep anyway.
Yeah.
So I'll literally just go into the office at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll work from 3 till 7, get all those bits and pieces that I needed to get done.
Yeah.
And I manage it by telling somebody else the deadline.
Yeah.
Because then I need to hit that deadline.
You're accountable for that.
I'm accountable for that deadline.
You're making yourself.
And then I have to make it happen.
That can get into a nasty cycle, though, can't it? Because
It's how, though, you get stuff done.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have deadlines, you don't have targets, and you don't have aims.
I mean, the getting up at 4:30, that side of things can be I putting a deadline on it to hold yourself accountable is key, but you can get into that.
My missus has been really good for me in not like, because I'll do a little reset on a holiday.
Yeah.
And if it was down to me, we wouldn't go on holiday. I would just work all the time. I would just be like, and then I would get into that aggressive cycle of just being on it all the time.
We both got addictive personalities.
Really
So
addictive
once you're in,
personality.
it's all in and it's all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, as I said, like, it's then not about money. It's about the game. And then it's like, you get into this cycle of going, you want the new deal, next deal. You created a platform. There's so many avenues now to explore. Yeah. And like, I've now got people around me that control me. Yeah. Like, otherwise I would be just bananas. Do you know what I mean? The energy's good. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it's just.
That's exciting, though. That is cool that you've got those options.
And once you start to work a few bits out, and like, I won't go into too much, but when I first started 8-9 years ago, I'd convert a loft. Yeah. And in that loft, you'd be 30k to convert a loft. Spend 4 months doing it. It'd be a nightmare. And you're doing 10%, so you're doing 3k out of it. And once you realise, actually, there's other things that I can just buy and sell. I can buy something that costs 50 grand, and I can sell it and make it £10,000, and it takes less than 10 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. And you've created a platform to sell those products from. Then your brain really starts to frazzle.
But I do think you've got to do the hard work first. See the
unless what I said. Unless you make, I can't sell a window unless I've made the opening. Yeah. You've got to build the opening. That's the rite of passage to sell a window. Yeah. That is the rite of passage. And unless you're very exceptionally good at something, there's got to be you've got to be the best. You've got to be the biggest. You've got to be the loudest. But there's got to be a reason for the people to use your services to do those things. Yeah.
And I think the important thing as well, to enable you to be good at anything that you're good at. I think like quite often like Andy will get the praise or the well done. The truth is, isn't it? Like Andy can't function like he does unless his missus is supporting. Unless his team is really good and they're on it. Like for me, the best thing I ever did was completely controversial what everyone said, and my wife come to work for us. She had a better job than me. She massively took a punt on what we thought was a business that had legs. She on paper for her, it was a dreadful choice. Absolutely terrible. Yeah. But she helped me to be better. And I don't mean that like all cheesy. Everyone has a tiff over it. But generally, it's been the best thing that's ever happened. And then the next best thing is having really good people at work. And we took on people, I think, probably similar to Andy. There's specific things in the business. Like we just took on like a tender writer. That's really specific. That's really niche. You have to have done that before. Right? But for us, like all of our contracts managers have zero experience, and in fact it would be detrimental if they did, because how another company run their business is not how I run mine. And that's not to say I'm amazing and I'm right and they're wrong. They might be right and I might be terrible, but to fit in with what we have, we got 3 contracts managers and they are fantastic, and they all come in with not one day of experience other than sport. And they've been unbelievable. But they turn up. They know they don't tuck the boys up. They work really hard. They do everything well that takes no skill. Yes. And then you teach them skill. And then when they've got the skill, they deliver that.
Really well because they apply the principles that take no skills to the skill. Yes. And they become exceptionally skilled then. Yeah. And like I'm exactly the same. Like I've got some amazing tradespeople that work for me now. Obviously, done a bit on your house and stuff when we were thinking like you take it, you probably take it for granted, don't you, a little bit? I think once you're it's like playing in a really good sports team, when you're surrounded by great players, all you just do your job well.
Yep.
And when you're doing and everyone's doing their own job well, the performance comes. And once you've played in that team for a long period of time, in sport it's really difficult because you don't ever get a long time to build in the same team. Like probably the Welsh rugby team that's just finishing now. We had such a really overperforming team because we had great players that played together for a long period of time, and lots of people that didn't weren't injured and stuff like that. They managed to play a long career. Yeah. Whereas actually, if you create a good business, you can do a lifetime together. You see some of these businesses that are started and are into now their second and third generation of ownership. LBS was one of our merchants that we use now. And it's been handed down to Ben and Rachel. That business has now, but once you've got networks and systems and that kind of stuff, it's its own sport. It's like a sport, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
And that's what's so fascinating about the Formula One thing, because you can relate it to there's a major business element to it as well. It is a sport, but it's business as well. Yeah, it's ruthless and cutthroat, but it's a business, definitely.
Yeah, for me as well. We were talking about like straight talk earlier. Yeah. The first one of the boys come on was Jack. So Jack's been with us the longest, then Tristan, and Taylor's come on recently, and the three of them have like massively overachieved what they've done. But when they came on, particularly Jack and then Tristan, they taught me that straight talk is fine. Because I don't know, I've never been in professional sport, but those boys every day are told black and white what you delivered, what you didn't deliver. That wasn't good enough. That is good enough. Yeah. They taught me that straight talk isn't a bad thing. It's actually beneficial. You're actually doing me a favor by not dressing this up to be something it's not, and not trying to paint a pretty little picture. Yeah. I just want to know what I've done and what I've not done so I can make it better. Yeah. And look, not everyone is like that. But in work with us, that's the one thing we encourage everyone. Just be really straight with each other. And I learned that from them. Yeah. It's quite often like I get the credit for that. Like, oh, it's great. It's like, that's a good thing. It is a good thing, but I didn't put that in play. Yeah. I just saw that it was beneficial from what they showed me. Yeah. And I think it's like I think I said last time we were on here, like you should be selfish with the advice you take. Do you know, like everyone's got something to say, and you can pick wise things from pretty much everybody. Yeah. But also you will have old mate walking down the road walking his dog, and he'll tell you how to run your business. And you ask him what he's done, and he's worked in IT. Yeah, it doesn't.
What are you trying to say?
It doesn't translate. Yeah, no. Well, I wasn't going to say anything about IT, right? No, but I think you've got to be selfish with what you absorb and what you take in. Be polite to everybody, but what you take in and what you use, you've got to be selfish with. I think.
That's good advice.
It is, and you've got to realise that there is so much to learn. You don't have to. You don't even have to pick up a book or go to university or
stopping to think before you do it, right? As well. So I use the analogy. If I need a kidney transplant, I want to go to the dentist. Yeah. Right? So if you're looking for a new idea, a youngster or someone like that's probably the right person to go and ask. Yeah. If you need some old school business advice, you probably want to go and speak to someone whose business been. So now when you go in for an idea on something, go and collect a cluster of data from relevant people. Yeah. Maybe go for a couple of curveballs as well. Yeah. So go and ask somebody else how they think. What do you reckon about this? And it's not a sit down and a coffee, whatever. It's in the pub. Yeah, it's in the pub. Pick a moment to ask someone their opinion on something, and listen. Yeah. And often, I say it all the time. Like, how often are we sat in sometimes we know some really smart lads now, right? And sometimes we're sitting in there thinking we'll be in a group of 10 people, and someone is spouting off, and I know Pete knows the answer. He'll just sit there silently, right? And it's the same, isn't it? You'll be in another place, right? You'll be somewhere else, and I'll know that someone's saying something over here, and someone's spouting off over there, and I know that somebody over here knows the answer. Yeah. But they're not. They're just listening. They're just listening to other people's opinion on that matter. And I think like that is knowing when.
That's a skill. It's hard to know when to listen on.
I'm terrible at it. Know when to listen, when to shut up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like really quite a difficult thing to capture. And sometimes if you just if you're just sitting there listening and you don't take part, you don't get the information. Sometimes if you give your opinion, you shut someone else off that was potentially speaking about something, which is
one thing I've learned is that you've triggered there as well is, and I use it all the time, but I hate it. My personality just isn't natural at it. Is leaving silences, awkward silences when you're in some. So when you're in kind of not hostile but challenging discussions. I have challenging discussions with clients or people within the business, and I'll just leave that silence because people just have the urge to kind of
Leave
fill
it
it,
hanging.
and they'll fill it with and you're like, right, that's the nugget I wanted, or that's what I wanted to hear.
I think
It's
the more,
really
the more,
difficult.
the more you do it, the better you get. When I used to
Yeah.
first negotiate with people and be sitting in front of an architect and a quantity surveyor, and they've been this for so many years, and they got so many letters after their name, and you're literally sitting there thinking to myself, like I can't read Shania Twain. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you're just like, what am I doing here? Do you know what I mean? And then
You do make me feel like a woman, though.
Touche, sir.
Excellent.
Touche.
I've been desperately trying to think of one of her songs. What's the song? What's the song? What's the song?
That's the only one I can do. I don't know any others.
I wasn't even fully confident that was her song, but there we go. Anyway, sorry, mate.
you spend more time in that environment, and you actually come to realise that. So again, as long as you know what you're talking about, and you know you're part of it, you're fine to take part in those conversations. And someone over there will be speaking. It doesn't matter who they are, what they got after their name.
Yeah.
If they're wrong, they're wrong.
Yeah.
And you've got to tell them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't agree with what you've just said there. It doesn't matter how long that silence is after it.
Yeah.
You're telling that client that their house is going to cost £1.5 million, and I know full well that's going to cost £2.5 million.
Yeah.
And people would say to me all the time, like, you just know what you're talking about. Someone come and speak to me in a couple of years.
Yeah.
How much time does it cost?
Yeah.
I've had an exact same scenario happen in work, and we've had to walk away from it because we're standing by going, it's not going to be that much.
Good effort walking away, though.
And but I've basically said to the client, can I book a meeting for the week after you're delivering that? Just to understand, because I want to take
So I
away
can
some
roll in the
lessons.
smugness.
Yeah, well, really inside I want to go, told you so. But I just want to learn some lessons and understand whether, how you achieve that. But it's you need to take that kind of strength and
Back
do that.
yourself there.
Yeah.
If you are the professional that's been called into a meeting on that particular field, it doesn't matter how inferior you feel.
Yeah.
Like
They respect you enough to have asked you there.
Yeah, you've got to have the confidence.
You're in the room.
Yeah.
But that's the difficult thing to do, is have the confidence to do it. I struggle with that.
I think alternatively, though, isn't it? Having the confidence to speak up when you think you're right.
Yeah.
But also, no one likes anything more than someone who'll just make it up.
Yeah,
If you don't know, just say, like, look, I'm not sure, but I'll find out for you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, as long as... I think in the same with anyone that you don't have to like me, but as long as you respect me, I'll always tell you the truth. You might not like it, you might not like the way I deliver it, but I will be straight with you about it.
Yeah.
And I think that you can't argue that. You might not like my personality for it, but you can't help but respect that I've been honest with you.
Yeah.
I could lie to you, but I'm not. I'm going to tell you the truth.
And because if you do lie, it's just your time is short then, isn't it? You're going to get found
and
out.
you get found out real
But
fast.
that integrity in terms of going,
100%.
guys, I'm not the right person for
Yes.
or we're not the right organisation for the job, or whatever that may be.
Honesty is the best policy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's been some good real talk. Enjoying that. So, yeah.
Can we talk about your new car now?
Yeah.
Oh, he gets a bit shy.
He
Watch
does
out now,
say
he does
it.
get a bit
No.
shy.
If you're
There.
Pete now,
I want to talk about your bench press.
Oh, I was going to bring that up. I've been practicing. I did 3 push-ups. So
Yeah.
Oh, nice work. Well played. Yeah. Touche.
Now, so you're a bit of a dab hand at the bench, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at bench press. Yeah. It's the only thing I'm good at. So I mean, I'll enjoy
I
it.
think
Yeah.
that's a lie.
He used to be good when he was light.
No, when I was so I was under 23s and I was 90 kilos. I benched 202.5 kilos.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's very strong. Look, I'm still.
It was so impressive. The Queen came to see him.
Oh,
And I have met the Queen. Yeah, I have met the Queen. Yeah.
I didn't know she was into bench press.
No, I mean, look, everyone's got their own little fetishes, mate, right?
She saw the picture of the little chubby guy from Penland. And she was like, I've got to see.
Always wore a vest.
Who always wore a vest.
Black
Protein
vest,
Pete.
Yeah.
Protein.
Sausage roast pre-workout, wouldn't it?
Mate, my old dear came over today and cooked me a sausage dinner. It was unbelievable.
Big Sill. Shout out to the Big Sill.
Mate, she just turned up. She just turned up at my house. It was like, I'm here to cook dinner. I was like, well, I'll
Are you
take this
joking?
all day. I was like, yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Life is good.
Yeah,
Life is good.
absolutely.
So and you had a sort of semi-professional rugby career as well back in the day.
Yeah, like I wasn't. As I said, like I wasn't a great rugby player. I was just like a lump, and I was fast. I just run hard. I was a
I
good
like
tackler.
to tackle people with my head.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was a good tackler. I wasn't a great rugby player. Probably same as surfing. Like I was not a really good surfer. I was okay surfer. I surfed for a long sort of period of time, but fishing.
You surfing now?
I got a bit of a problem with my back at the moment, so I'm not in
here
the
we
water.
go.
But yeah,
Right, so
Is it carrying Pete? Is it carrying Pete? Is
there's
it?
a story for this, right? Honestly. So Andy, honestly now, right? I can't take when he tries to tell me something seriously that's negative. I can't help but not take it. I'm the worst person. If he comes and tells me he's not well, he's not gonna have a serious answer at me, right? So he goes to me, I'm really, really worried about my back. He's like, been to see a specialist. They reckon I might have if I carry on, I'm gonna be in a wheelchair. So I laughed and went, don't worry, I'll get you the grossest wheelchair you've ever seen, and I'll make your Ferrari accessible. So don't worry, right? So laughing away, and he. Dead serious. So all the things he's done, right? So we've been like rock climbing, he's fallen off, like forever doing things that your body shouldn't do. The least of all those that's going to harm you is surfing. He goes, mate, it's all those years of surfing. It's done my back in. I was like, you've got to be having a giraffe here. You're having a giraffe. He is absolutely convinced that he's got a bad back from surfing. It's not. It's not from surfing.
I mean, he put forward a strong argument.
It's from reeling in all the silver
rock climbing.
bars. It is.
Reeling in all the silver
While we're
bars.
talking about Andy as well, so other personality traits, because, he knows I love him. Sleeping. Don't ever have Andy over for a sleepover. So we recently went to Germany.
He's very sensitive.
Where do you go in Germany?
What's it?
Nuremberg.
No. Where do we go, Andy?
Nürburgring.
No.
Nürburgring.
Not Nürburg.
Nürburgring.
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 Yes, we went to the Nürburgring. And so it's like a bit of a last minute trip. And I booked the room. It was the last room in the hotel. And it was meant to have been 2 double beds and like a big family size room. It definitely wasn't. It was 2 single beds, literally next to it. We were holding hands, right? It was insanely small. And so I went on the way there. So the day before, I didn't give my wife any notice I was going. The day before, my wife goes to me, she goes, you were snoring last night. I can't wait for you to wake Andy up all night. Like really smug. And I felt absolutely terrible because I had stinking cold. So I went to Andy in the car on the way there. By the way, I drove the whole way there. He didn't offer once, right? So when we pulled over for our 18th coffee...
He didn't argue that.
18th coffee break, right? Because I'm trying like this to stay awake, right?
It's true friends. You're not nice to each other anymore, no. You just,
Belgium.
So I goes to him, I go,
France.
I said, just to let you know,
Nuremberg.
Leah said to me I was snoring last night, so I'm just going to clear the air like I might snore tonight. He just went, completely fine. He went, oh, no stress, mate, don't worry, bro. I was like, oh, he's taking this like a champ. Get to Germany, literally drop my bags off, go straight out on the beers, have a steak, get back. Mate, Count Dracula beer, right? He spends 45 minutes cleaning every orifice in the shower. He's the cleanest man in Swansea. There's no one cleaner than Andrew Green, right? I know he doesn't look it. He's the cleanest man in Wales, right? Mate, he gets into bed, literally crosses his arms like Count Dracula, lies back looking at his phone like this. His phone goes down, and he just sleeps with his arms crossed straight, and then proceeds to, like a Chinook helicopter, snore the room down, right? And I thought, he's been asleep 45 seconds. There's no way. He's winding me up. Like, he's absolutely winding me up there. He wasn't winding me up at all. The whole night, he gets up in the morning, like springing his step, little kick of the heels, gets up. He's like, how'd you sleep, mate? I was like, you're having a novel, yeah? He's like, I had the worst night's sleep of my life, mate. I was like, you snored all night and you sleep like some kind of weird vampire. What are you doing? He's like, oh yeah. Tiff said to me, if you do that, you got to just roll me onto my side. So he expected me in the night to have taken it upon myself when we were sleeping this close to roll him onto his side.
Yeah.
There's no way that would have been right.
I feel like it's a you problem, not a me problem. Like
A friendly recovery position.
yeah, I was
my
about to
God.
say. That's fair enough.
I was going to say I pay good money for that, but I would.
Well,
that
I
sounds
tell you
weird,
what,
but-
again, it cost me, there's a common theme here that it cost me a lot of money. I couldn't cope with his sleeping, so I went into the hotel, I pleaded for another room, and it cost me €300 to book myself a room in another hotel.
A non-snort.
And I didn't tell him. I just left him there, and I did a big poo in the toilet, and I didn't flush it.
You did. You'd like my ingenuity as well. So I had no phone charger. I just had a USB. No on different plugs. So I was like, now I didn't know where Pete had gone. He didn't tell me he checked out of the room. So he just left, taking all the stuff. I didn't even think I thought it was the wrong room to start with, right? So
I can't tell you how much of a little strop I had.
Yeah.
I completely
Nostrils.
full flat. Full
right
sail.
up there.
Ping pong
Right
ball.
up there.
Right up
Ping
there.
pong. But, so I went into the room. I was like, I have no phone battery. I don't know where they're going to go out for food or anything tonight. Now I'm just on my own. And it wasn't in the same hotel as everyone else. It was in a different hotel now, right? So I was like, I'm going to have to take the lamp apart and try and hotwire this USB. So I was like, and then it'll take the lamp apart. And I was like, crap. I'm not very good at, electrics is one of the things I'm not very good at. But I was like, this isn't going to work. So I was like, what do I do? So I managed to take the TV off the wall in the hotel and then use the USB port on the back of the TV to charge my phone. Yeah. So that was actually quite successful. So I rang Pete and he's like, how do you charge your phone? I was like, I've literally just taken the lamp part and now I've got TV off the wall and I've plugged it into the back of the TV. He's like,
and again, common theme here, it was booked under my name, so any charges would again be going my way.
So I was like, where are you? He's like, we'll be outside in 5 minutes to pick you up food. I was like, sound. Yeah, play that one off. I'll flush your turd.
So then,
no drama.
at lunch, we were away with the Better Performance boys in Cardiff.
Who are they then?
Yeah, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. No, they're a good bunch of boys.
Yeah,
So
they're
we
very good.
buy all our cars and stuff there. So we went out with them. We went at lunch and I was telling them my vampire story, blah, 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 about Andy. So everyone's having a good laugh. And there's a guy who works there, Alan. He's a lovely bloke, big fella. And he goes, well, I tell you what, I don't half snore. When I snore, it's like gargling hammers. Mate, my head nearly fell off. And
Gargling.
You could actually imagine it as
Oh,
well.
mate,
It
you
was the
could.
type
You
of person who would
definitely
gargle
could.
hammer.
Lovely bloke.
I have met him
gargling.
actually. He's a nice,
What was
nice guy.
it Lance who was frightening the sauce?
Mate.
Was it Lance? What was his name?
Lance the mechanic, right?
Yeah.
The woman would come round the first night with a steak restaurant.
Mate.
She's like, does anyone want mayonnaise or tomato sauce? He's going, ooh, ooh. Like it's
Literally, someone put sauce on the table, mate, would not go near
He
it.
wasn't going near it. He'd leave his meal.
No way.
Yeah.
Terrified of sauce. But then
PTSD from ketchup.
would have pizza with, like, it's tomato sauce. Mate. I was like, mate, it's a tomato sauce base.
I worked with a guy who was scared of peas before.
No,
So
strange.
I'm not
Petit
making
pois.
that up.
Petit pois.
Petit pois. Not making it up.
Garden.
Yeah. So how was Nürburgring?
Nürburgring.
You didn't take your own cars.
They
You
were on
rented a Mini or something. Was it a Mini Cooper?
Peter's too much of a minge, didn't drive.
I definitely didn't drive.
But,
I'm not being rude. How do you guys fit in a Mini Cooper? Because
Was it a Mini Cooper you got? Mine was pink.
My soul's still there.
Yeah.
I left it in there.
The one we rented was pink. It was a pink Mini Cooper.
Bright pink.
Me and
as
Big
well.
Jack from Better Performance, we started it out. Jack's not a small person.
No, he's a
is
big
he?
lad as well.
To be
yeah.
fair. And
Jeez.
I will. Jack will back this up. We had a few friends in our pink Mini Cooper that we rented,
you?
mate. Yeah. It was probably,
No, he didn't.
I would say
They were all male.
mainly male. Yeah.
And they were
Mainly male.
yodeling.
Yes.
yodeling.
I think Jack is a man. Is a fan of a polo neck. What's it? A turtleneck.
I was
Turtleneck.
going to say he'd have a roll down.
A roll down.
Roll
Yeah.
down.
Nice.
Yeah, in our pink Mini Cooper. But no, I don't. As I
Completely
said,
off
like,
piece here. Jack's profile picture on WhatsApp, Jack Wilcox, is him playing polo.
yes, I've seen
On a
that.
horse.
Yeah.
I haven't pulled him up on that.
I'd assumed he was a polo player the first time I saw him.
Oh, see?
He comes across very well.
He does.
Oh, darling one does come across very well.
sorry.
Yes, he does.
Very well travelled, that Jack. Yes. Well bred, darling. Well bred.
Now, as I said, like, sort of rugby and fishing. I think fishing, obviously, me and James are keen fishermen. We fish a lot together now. But, like, yeah, I'm really frothing for the next few years with like, me and Pete, we're going to probably buy an M2, aren't we?
Yeah,
And sort of
absolutely.
Nice.
just for destroying, basically.
Yeah.
So build it out in. Well, hopefully you can find one. It's like I didn't realise. Like we speaking to all those boys, you just buying a car and thinking that you're going to buy a wreck car and put a roll cage in the back of it and put some seats in it. That costs loads of money.
Yeah.
Just buy one that's built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, the one at Betform's got that Golf is wicked.
the Golf is wicked, but you do want something that's rear wheel drive, don't you?
Yeah.
I think.
Be a bit fun.
So yeah. So like, I'm really looking forward to sort of doing some motor
That'd be
based sort of track stuff and
Yeah.
that. And obviously, there's a few of us now who've got cars and stuff and going for a blast and things like that, you know. And we were
In their gym.
Future's bright.
Future's bright.
Future's bright. I fancy Anglesey, I do.
Future's GTS.
I
bloody
fancy that.
GTS.
Yeah, that's
I fancy that track. Anglesey.
so,
Fifth gear test track it used to be.
Is it?
One of the boys at Bet Performance, Ash, another one who does cycling, Ash at Bet Performance. He went and did a track there or something in his yard in the Bet Performance Yaris. He said it was class.
In Anglesey?
Yeah, class apparently. Yeah.
I had my 911 serviced on Friday at Porsche Mode in Bristol, and they were mentioning was it Bedford Drome?
Autodrome.
Bedford Autodrome. They rave about that track. They say it was the best.
There are
track
some good tracks.
Well,
in the
to
UK.
go to the Nürburgring.
Nürburgring. Yes.
To go to the Nürburgring, I mean, hotel. You got to stay 2 nights, haven't you? Right. So hotel for a couple of nights is £500.
Yep.
What was the tunnel? I paid tunnels £400 with a probe like a thingy pass. Plus, you've got to drive all the way there. Then, you know, unless you're taking your own car, you can drive your own car, but you're not insured.
Yeah.
Right. And if you crash, it's a big
outlay.
It's a big outlay if you crash. You could be 15, 20k if you crash there.
Yeah.
Like it's a big outlay. And obviously, then you got to rent a car for the day. Budget cars were still
fairly spendy, about £1,000 a day, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Right. So you're a few K to go to the Nürburgring and like rent it around the track for a day. On the way back, we like rung Pembrey. We can rent that track for the day for £6,000.
Yeah, for the whole day.
For the whole day.
Yeah.
And then say get 10, 12 of you down there, and everyone chips in £500. Do you know what I mean? Like then you've got your own track with a bit of space around it and doing your own thing.
Track as well.
Like it was. I'm an average driver. I'm not a great driver. Like obviously, I've only been driving fast cars for a couple of years, and
Get around the back lanes though.
On the back lanes, 20 mile an hour only, of course. And it's nothing. It's nothing like I've ever seen Nürburgring.
Yeah,
it
is amazing.
I mean, there must have been 200 crashes in the day we were there.
You're joking.
Nope.
Mad,
Oh, I tell you what is mad. The thing that blows your mind when you've never been before, the thing for me anyway, is that literally you're driving to a failed Formula 1 racetrack.
Yeah.
It happened once, a guy died, never happened again. So like from a business point of view, they must have thought this is a failure.
Yeah.
But you're driving into this rural, like alpine. It's in a beautiful place, isn't it? Like you come off the autobahn and stuff. It is like driving into the middle of Brecon.
Yeah.
And then literally you have like an AMG building pop up on the right. You'll have like Wyzak. You'll have like all these mad, like huge names in motorsport just pop up the side of the road. And then there's a petrol garage. You go in. The petrol garage has got like every fast car you dream about as a kid. Queuing up, you're talking a kilometre down the road.
Yeah.
You get in, you fill your car up. They sell 99 or 100 octane fuel there.
I can't remember.
100, they sell,
Yeah, they
never
do.
seen anything like it, right? It's insane. And then you go in and you just get like a little phone top-up card.
Yeah.
And you say like, can I have 10 laps? And like 35, I think it's 35 euros a lap. They give you a card and you just get like a phone top-up card. Because it's technically a toll road, see?
Yeah.
And you drive in, you queue, you go off like a mini roundabout. You drive in, you drive in, and then you literally just tap it on like you're going into a multi-story car park.
Yeah.
And then you just go.
And on, you're off. And you
That's
can take
insane.
you could take any car. So
Well,
like the crash, someone stacked it in front of us. I was driving and Jack was in the passenger seat. And Jack knows the track quite well. It was probably I think my second or third
People learn
lap.
that from computer games, didn't they? As well?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, literally learn it from a computer game. I've never played any computer games or anything like that, right? But I'm doing 120, something like 130 on this bend, and Jack knew he's gonna go, because he just took the wrong line into the bend.
Really?
So he knew he was gonna go, and he literally his tire just touched the grass on the right hand side and just hit the barrier. Everything exploded. There was just dirt everywhere.
He was just
car
in,
in front
he was
of
just in
us.
the Focus, wasn't he?
He was just,
Like
he was in
like
a, he was in
Focus.
a like diesel. No, those like sport diesel
Oh,
Focus.
yeah.
You know, so he was just not even in a.
Doesn't take much.
That's what I mean. You buy that card and you could be next to a Pista and you could be next to a Ford Galaxy.
Yeah.
There are people driving around in ice cream vans.
Yeah, mate.
That's
it's
the thing
mental.
that freaked me out. Like, do you know,
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Because
the first time I went,
you can't get a 99 when he's going
Mate,
that speed.
well, no, I mean, I've tried, and it doesn't work. No, but do you know the first time I went, when we went with Greenie, it was like, it was called Green Hell Day. It was like last open of the year, I think it was.
It was a beautiful day as well, wasn't it?
So it was jammed. It was, I think they said there was every minute of the day, there was 500 cars continually on the track. 500 cars. It's 27 kilometres, isn't it? Was it 16 kilometres? It's a big old track.
Yes.
Big old track.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go in some, it's 8 minutes to get around it, innit?
Yes,
eight,
yeah,
and a bit,
eight is a good time.
Between
like,
8 and 9 minutes.
So there is 500 people on that track
Yeah.
non-stop. And like when I went the first time, I went out last year with the Bet Performance boys again. It was a bit more of like it wasn't like the last day of the year or nothing. So it was definitely far less people, and everyone there was really competent. But when we went with Greenie, a thing that frightened me a bit really, was if you're with loads of good drivers, I'd love to be the worst driver.
Yeah.
I do not want to be a middle of the pack driver with abysmal drivers and amazing drivers and 500 of you. Yeah. That is really freaky. Like,
well, how many times you go go-karting and you get someone that's inexperienced and they just T-bone you?
Yes.
It's different.
There's different gravy, mate. Like you get the like waving yellow flags. You just don't know what you're going to see.
Yellow flag, or they wave a certain flag to let you know someo's coming behind you quickly.
Or is that a blue flag?
I don't know. I didn't see.
That was in Spa.
So out there, I think it was yellow flag. So after 4 years, if you get
if someone's had a spill, is it?
No, it's just a minor. So it's a minor crash.
Yes.
So yellow is minor, red is shut the track.
Yeah.
But they do. So basically, on the fourth, if you have 4 yellows at the same time, though, then you get a red, and then the track is shut.
But I saw that one focus in front of me. The boys were standing out of it, so they were all right.
Yeah.
I saw a couple though, like all the airbags gone, everything smashed up, like huge, the roof buckled.
Imagine being the director of health and safety for that.
So they have to pay then to get that car out of there.
Yeah. So if you smash, you have to pay.
£500 Fiesta there. You've still got to pay.
Oh,
get it off.
Some people just jump the barriers and run away.
Most people, if the car isn't worth a lot, they just run away. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, there's a compilation on YouTube. Watch it, it's really funny. People running away from Nürburgring.
Oh,
it's really funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny. People just legging it, like
climbing
over.
You have to pay per meter of barrier per post.
Yeah.
Then you have to pay for them to come and recover you and take you off.
And they only will drop you outside. They won't take you anywhere.
Why didn't you get a contract for repairing the maintenance and stuff for the
Nürburgring
international?
I don't think you want a piece of that. That's gonna be. That sounds.
That's because Andy keeps trying to write the tender for the Nürburgring. That's why we haven't had any luck yet.
Get his wires crossed.
I baited James though. I bought 1 lap on the card. And I've given it to him.
Got that.
Oh,
how good was Spa then? Because I haven't been to Spa, but it's meant to be awesome, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'd never done any track days at all.
Yeah.
And it was when I was doing it at my house, so it was in peak lockdown sort of thing. Class. Friend of mine, Hugh the Chip, who hopefully
is he the guy we met on the drive?
Yeah, he's a good boy.
He's got the GT3 RS.
Yes, he's got a GT3.
GT3, yes, yeah.
So we were in the older GT3 then. It had the Martini livery. I don't know if you ever saw that one. And he rang me up and he was like, "Oh, do you fancy going to Spa?" And I was literally, scruffs on in the dark, dusty room, like.
Class.
Like, not really feeling like you deserve a break because you just want to finish what you're doing, but at the same time, that mentality, isn't it? You've got to think, gosh,
might never get a chance to do
this again. You've got to take these opportunities. So yeah, we went there, went down to his house, and then just bombed it down to the tunnel.
Amazing. He seems a good lad. He does,
mate. He's class. Yeah,
he's a good driver, mind.
He's got some stories. Are you gonna have him on? He's got some stories.
Yeah. Well, I've been with him this morning, so yeah, he's hopefully gonna come on. But yeah, like you say, he's a good driver, and yeah, he's done I think maybe 70 or 80 odd track days. I was telling you, Tubbs.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was his car, obviously worth a lot of money. I was in the car. So we got there, like say, hotel similar to you boys, set up great. So I think it was the next day. Then he was like, "Oh, we'll get a."
Was he a good sleeper? Was he a comfortable bed partner? I know you're gonna have him on. I just want to know.
Yeah, he was all right. He was all right, to be fair. Yeah, he was good. No complaints.
Good. Yeah,
no complaints.
No complaints.
I wish I could say the same for Andy Green.
He's got plenty of grease in the what's it called? His throat, isn't he? Stops him snoring.
Yeah,
the chip.
Chip fat, isn't it?
Lubricated.
Yeah, lubricated throat.
Yeah. You got a story
lubricate the hammers.
Yes.
We have to have some cars running on chip vat stories as well. We got a couple of those, but they're for another day. So it was obviously his car, worth a lot of money. And he said, "Oh, you can drive. Obviously, we'll get an instructor." And I thought I was, an all right driver on the road.
Yeah.
So I got this guy next to us. Forget his name, but he was a very good instructor. Yes. And he's basically, this is how it went. So we got in the car. We're in the pit lane. Hugh sorted out a garage on the pit. You can like rent a garage. So you have your car there, sharing it with another guy. Bearing in mind, some of the cars on the track, they're like no number plates, proper track cars. Wow. I can't remember the brand. They just make cars purely for track. It'll come to me. Radical. You know those?
No.
Anyway, they're a manufacturer that just make track cars. They don't do anything for the road. So there's those whizzing everywhere. And basically, the instructor's next to me. I'm in the driver's seat, and he's like, so, he doesn't know if it's my car or not. So I'm not really used to the car either. I've only driven it like on the motorway to get there. And he's like, so how many track days have you done? And I'm like, never been on track before in my life, mate. And he looks at me, I look at him, the light goes green, barrier goes up, straight out of the pits, and the first...
I bet his heart is like that. Oh my God.
First thing I see
this guy thinks he's on the school run.
First thing I see is Eau Rouge, the famous chicane, It's a fast bit of thing. So car's warmed up and everything, so just gas it, leather it, like up into fourth, doing about 115 mile an hour down. Yeah. And he's like, right, you see the red gantry on the right? When you see the red gantry, hug that, and then over to the right, then over to the left. And I'm like, this car's there. Like, I think in some tracks, they can only overtake you on one side. Yes. There, they can overtake you on both sides. So that was what I was saying. The guy, this stewards on the side, like, they let you know when someone's coming. But like these boys were shifting, and I was like, that track is superb. But I was out of my depths, So I want to go back there in my own car.
Yes.
And like I say, Hugh, to be fair to him, especially after he'd had the instructor, it was like someone had put 50 pence in him. He was going well, and I actually I'm a bit of a you're a bit of a control freak, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I actually enjoyed being a passenger more on that occasion.
Class. But you like being a passenger.
I love it.
And it was interesting, seeing the apexes, and obviously you watch it on the TV and stuff, but putting that into practice and hitting those lines, sweet.
Well, and seeing how the car feels as well. Knowing you're going into stuff and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Like, when we
the brakes are the one thing I think which
mental.
The car didn't have ceramic brakes, but I think that's the one thing which gives in the car after a while, that the brakes get so hot. Which is obviously, it's a road car, and at the end of the day.
But it's funny being in a car when someone else is pushing it, and like being a passenger, it's quite.
You were squeaky.
So that was the same as yours, a 997.2, but it was the GT3.
Yeah, but I did 2 laps when we went to the Nürburgring as a passenger. Well, I did quite a few laps as a passenger, but I did 2 particular. One with Big Jack.
Yes.
A Big Jack was pushing it, and I think to myself, like, is he? You're trying to suss someone out. Like, is he pushing it or is he not pushing it? And they can just see the sweat, can't you? The sweat on the brow, and you can see, we didn't have driving gloves on, like, but you could just see, the sweat sort of, and I was thinking to myself, he's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh. When we went on that drive that day with Hugh, you were an amazing passenger, but on a few times I saw you clenching the seat.
Oh yeah.
Where was this?
When we did the Balkan Regos.
I literally just had my AMG GTR.
Like, I remember.
First time it's been out for a blast.
We
went
out
on a Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah. We
That's
went
why
out.
I wasn't allowed. I was in the hot room frying.
Hot room.
Grafting.
To be fair though, you would never been on anything like that before, could you? So like was
on the mountain roads.
No, not just on mountain roads, but you'd never really.
I'd never been out on a drive with the boys. I just got my own.
Yeah.
So
the first big car you got, was it this?
Yeah. So Hugh, I had an M2 before that.
Yeah.
And I'd had like an.
But he's like a. Not driving it fast around corners or anything else like that. Just like a brrr, like a little blitz and then
just a blast.
Yeah.
So Hugh comes up to me and he's like, "I'll take a walkie-talkie." I was like, "You're having a giraffe, yeah?" Yes. What are we doing? Like, I just thought we were going for coffee. Mate, I loved it. It was great. It was class. I really enjoyed it.
He's got all the GoPros and everything. Yes, he's got all the gear.
I was holding on to the seat because, like, you're hanging it onto a corner, and like Pete's like, I can see him. I can see him about to go for the brakes. I'm like, do not touch the brakes. Do not touch the brakes. Do not touch the brakes.
He just kept on me. No brake, no beans. No brake, no beans.
Bad no dinner.
Yeah.
Break no lunch.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. So yeah, Hugh, we're coming for you, boy.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's
I've not met him.
But then really the second lap, right, that I was starting it in the Nürburgring was with
Paul, is it?
not Paul.
Pete, the other Pete. Yeah.
Right. And he'd obviously done quite a few laps. I think he'd been on a video game and learnt the track and everything else before he go. I think it was pretty much, he knew it was his last lap of the day, and he was obviously pushing it as hard as he could. And I was thinking to myself, I think we're gonna stack it now. I'm thinking to myself, we're gonna stack it. I'm just thinking to myself, I'm really tired of intensing like all day from trying to hold on and go around the corners. I'm saying this is gonna hurt a lot. And then I just realised to myself afterwards, like, for him, right, if he'd stacked like For me, if I'd have stacked it,
Yeah.
it's a bad day. Like a really bad day. It's going to hurt for a little bit.
Yeah.
But for like Pete's working a 9-to-5 job. I think he will be really successful. But he is going for it. Like, he is absolutely going for it.
Yeah.
And if he crashes,
Financially, that is a big
financially,
I killed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
killed
you know
it.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That is a record.
You-
I just
you
thought,
could
you
be in
know,
the hole for a lot of
fair
money,
play.
yeah,
Like,
ballsy, innit?
ballsy.
Yeah.
Like, that is
Or
ballsy.
naive,
Like, he's...
one of the two, but it's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Is this Pete
The
the
line
cyclist?
between
Is he the
brave and
cyclist?
stupid is.
Yeah.
He is.
Is he the cyclist? He's
Yes,
just
yeah,
Welsh.
that's right. Yeah.
He just loved his cars and he knew the track and everything else. He was
Yeah.
really going. He's like, but he's pushing it. He's pushing it. And I just thought to myself afterwards, you know what? Like,
Were you in the passenger seat?
yeah.
See, I'd be crap.
I loved it in the passenger.
I
seat.
enjoyed
Do you
it.
like
I
it, too?
loved
Spa,
it.
we got to go back there.
Loved
Got to
it.
go back there.
I'd love to
I
do
just,
that.
I kind of wanted to go for a lap with Pete in the passenger with me, but I also knew that he'd be willing for me to crash just because he'd think it was hilarious, that it was just the worst day financially
Yeah.
for me ever then. Yeah.
There'd be no one smugger having a crash.
Yeah,
than
he
me.
would. I would be like, oh no, here we go, and Pete would just be like,
I'd take a photo.
This will pay you back for that $2,000 steak.
yeah.
Enjoy that steak. Go on, choke on it.
Boys,
Right,
class,
lads.
absolutely
Yeah.
class.
Good.
Thanks
Thank-
again for
Thank you.
coming down.
Absolutely.
Wish you all the best for the future with
Fast
your
cars and silver bars.
endeavours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fast
Fast
cars and
car-
silver bars.
You
Yeah.
know it. Please share this video, like and subscribe, and everything will follow, and
Yeah.
everything will be.
Edit out at least 85% of what
The
we've
future's
said.
Yeah,
bright.
we've only got 5 minutes of footage, but no,
The future's bright.
no, it's been brilliant.
The
Thanks,
sound
guys.
is spot on. Thanks, Tobes, for all
Yeah.
your efforts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am. It's
All the best,
more
boys, with the
stressful.
podcast as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank
It's
you.
class,
I
man.
said I hope
Thank
you
you.
get some really
Yeah.
good people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Well, we
So-
have.
I can't wait to see Crocodile Dundee next week.
Yeah, he's getting. Oh,
Sunday
he's
night,
Wednesday.
guys.
He's coming
Sunday
Wednesday.
night,
So yeah,
10
it'll be good.
o'clock, and
So
you've come down to do
I
this.
completely
So.
hijacked this like goodbye,
Go
but
for it.
is he coming? Is he coming here then?
Yeah. He's over at the moment, so he's coming on Wednesday, staying with me Wednesday night,
Unreal.
and then I'm taking him in the sea.
Come in the
early
sea Thursday with us.
Thursday morning.
That's
You'll
it.
see that little fella running down the beach again.
Was that Crawley Woods?
Yeah, what to say?
Yeah, no,
Yes,
let's-
yes, you will.
Like a rerun of when
check
you're
the time,
10.
yeah? Just-
You'll see.
just for
You'll
the
see me and my
viewers.
dad's. You'll love this.
Pete the pervy plumber,
It's
trundling down the
Yeah,
beach in his
so-
my front.
Bring your binoculars.
Yeah.
Pigs in blankets.
I just checked the time. It's 22:20 on a Sunday night, and you boys,
22:20.
that's time flies when you're having fun. So, no, honestly, really, thanks very
Thank
much
you.
for
Yeah.
coming down, guys.
Thank you both again
worries.
as well. Thank you. Cheers.